It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. Hello again, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's another Wednesday, a pay-per-view fight week Wednesday. Always very exciting, and it feels like it's been a while since we've had a pay-per-view. I know the last one was December 11th, had the break, all that stuff. You know, when there's like more than a month, 31 days, 30 days in between, it feels like it's been a while. The next one will be February 12th, less than a month. This one, it feels like we've been waiting, and I'm excited. I'm excited. There's a lot of belly aching out there about the price hike. There's a lot of belly aching about the depth of the card, all that stuff. To me, those two fights at the very top of the bill are tremendous. And dare I say, hey, I'm going to pause now for station identification. No, not. I always want to say that. I'm going to pause now, clip this off, send it to Nevada right now. This card is worth that kind of money. Those two fights are worth that kind of money. Those four fighters are worth that kind of money. Heavyweight title fight, we get those once every 10 years. It's worth it. With that kind of drama, and dare I say, the MMA media, and here I am just getting right into it, the MMA media has done, I think, a better job of promoting this title fight than the UFC, because we're telling you about the contract situation. And if you're really reading everything and following everything, that has significantly up the stakes, up the interest, up the drama, the theater going into this main event. In addition to the backstory with the teammates and the training and the coaches and all that stuff, Dana's right. Vince McMahon couldn't write a better script than this one. He hardly writes the script these days, but you understand what I'm trying to say here. This is a really interesting fight card and very interesting two fights. Very, very interesting two fights. So I'm excited about it. We'll be talking about them. Of course, all show long, the bets, all that stuff. I like to have porridge before the show starts, and there's like a piece of porridge stuck in the back of my throat. I just have to tell all of you, there's a fantastic place downstairs. Porridge, it's tremendous because it's not too heavy, right? I was making the mistake earlier on eating a heavy lunch. I'm going with the porridge now. I feel great, but there's like a piece like stuck right back here. So it's been a battle. It's just been a bit of a battle. It's going to be a great show, though. It's going to be a great show. As always, we are presented by our good friends over at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Mysterious Frank got mad at me. He's saying I was pausing too long in between the. I liked it. I thought it was a thing. Was that quicker? Should I?
You're doing great.
Okay, this is actually a record. 3 minutes in, and you make an appearance. I think this is big. It's big for me. It's big for you. I think it's big for the show. Anyway, I was doing a thing where it's like the official, and he was like, "No, it's taking too long. People are getting confused. They think that the audio is broken. The podcast. Well, I don't know. So anyway, it's the official sports betting partner of not only the UFC. It's also the NFL. Also the MMA Hour. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use the code The MMA Hour for a special offer when you sign up. Again, that's code The MMA Hour only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Please support them because they support us. So, what is happening on today's program? Later in the show, 4 o'clock, our last guest, our last segment of the day, we're going to be joined by everyone's favorite 305er, Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal going to be joining us. Gamebred himself, of course, we know about the 305 clash on March 5th. Of course, you heard it here first. Friends, training partners turned foes. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal going to be headlining UFC 272. That is March 5th in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. And I'm looking forward to talking to Jorge Masvidal about that. We will have him on at 4 o'clock. At around 3 o'clock, we will answer your questions on the nose. ariel.helwani.substack.com is where you can leave the questions. And we've got a lot of them already. How many do we have? As of right this moment, we have 74. And I feel like I need to get through all of them this time because, let's be honest, I shortchanged a lot of you, and I felt bad about this actually all week. I felt like I really let you guys down. So I'm going to try to get to every single one. So that's where you can leave them, and we shall answer. I was perusing a little bit this morning, and there's some really good ones. So stay tuned for that. We will check in with G City, aka GC, at 2:30 to get his weekend picks. I mean, those two fights at the top: Figueiredo, Moreno, Figueiredo, Gane, Ngannou, Gane. Those two title fights at the very top, to me, are pick'ems. I mean, you can make a very strong case for either guy in either fight, and I would be all in. I would 100% agree with you. I feel like both of them are pick'ems. I could see scenarios for both guys in each fight. I could see a scenario where Moreno retains. I could see a scenario where Figueiredo goes back to the old Figueiredo. I could see a scenario where Ngannou knocks out Gane. I could see a scenario where Gane, is quicker than Ngannou and roughs him up and outclasses him. Like, I could see all these scenarios. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with. That's going to be at around 2:30. At 2 o'clock, we'll check in with Tyron Woodley, the chosen one. First interview since his loss to Jake Paul. We'll find out what's next for him, where he goes from here, all that stuff and more. He's always very honest, always very candid. So I look forward to checking in with Tyron Woodley. 1:30, we're going to be talking to one of the best coaches in mixed martial arts. His name is Eric Nicksick. He is the head coach at Xtreme Couture in Las Vegas, head coach for one Francis Ngannou, and I mean, so many others. He was just working with Aljamain Sterling recently. He works with Casey O'Neill. He works with, I have a whole list written down over here. Sean Strickland, Misha Tate, Chris Curtis. The list goes on and on. So Xtreme Couture, everyone knows them. He's one of the very best, and I look forward to talking to him about this title fight on Saturday, headlining UFC 270. But first, very excited to welcome in our first guest of the day. He is also fighting on the main card. It was supposed to be a battle showcasing two of the unbeaten stars in the UFC at 145 pounds. Unfortunately, Movsar Evloev had to pull out of the fight around a week or so ago, around 8 or so days ago. But luckily, the UFC was able to salvage his place on the card. Our first guest is fighting now Charles Jourdain on Saturday in Anaheim. He is the undefeated, the rising star. A lot of people think he is going to be a future champion in the UFC, and a lot of you have been asking me to have him on the program. I'm talking about Ilia Topuria, and he joins us first off via the magic of Zoom. There he is, Ilia. ¿Cómo estás?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
What's happening?
Muy bien. ¿Y cómo estás tú?
Oh, yes. It's great to have you.
Good?
It's good. Yes, I'm doing very well. You're always very nicely coiffed and groomed. Everything is just perfect with you. I like it very much. Much respect.
Yeah. Not just trying to be the best in fighting, trying to be the best looking too.
I like it. Respect, my friend. What was your reaction, Ilia? And thank you so much for coming on. What was your reaction when you found out that Movsar had to pull out of the fight?
So I was a little bit sad, because he talks too much on Twitter, and he told me like, you are not a matador. I'm going to use you like the red rag and blah, 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 blah. And I'm here right now in LA. Where he is, no one knows. He pulled out because he tested positive 3 weeks before the fight. And he didn't even say like, hey guys, give me a chance to test myself before the fight week. Maybe I'm going to test negative, and I'm in. I'm not going to pull out so quickly. So I was sad, but it is what it is. Things like this happen, When you don't deal with real man's, things like this happens,
People were very excited about this matchup. Is this like, if all goes well on Saturday, do you want to revisit it with him, or are you done with Movsar?
Yeah, I was excited too because he was undefeated, but right now he lost his undefeated before even he steps in the octagon with me. So he pulled out from the fight. I was in the same situation when I make my UFC debut, I test positive like 10 days before the fight, and they call me, and I test myself like 5 days after, and I test negative, and I didn't say anything.
Right.
I get short notice fight.
Yeah. 8 days, right?
That's not an excuse. yeah, when so many people are waiting for this fight, you can't do things like this, you know.
When the news came out, it seemed like you were interested in fighting Dan Ige, and this isn't the first time you've said or maybe expressed your desire to fight Dan. You also did it after the win over Ryan Hall. Why Dan Ige? Why is this a fight that interests you so much?
The first time when I called him out, it was because I was looking all the guys in the top 10, and he was the only guy who was free. And other guys had all the fight bookets, you know. So that's why first time I call him out. I'm calling him out like since 6 months ago. So after this fight, I plan to call him out again. So
why Dan? Why do you want to fight him so much?
That's it. Well, I don't know. I start with him, so I'm gonna finish with him.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. It's nothing personal.
What was your reaction when you found out Charles was stepping in? Did you like that matchup? Did it get you excited?
Yeah, a lot of people are talking that it's a short notice fight for him, but in reality, it's short notice fight for me too. You know, because my training camp was focused for a wrestler. Now I'm gonna have to fight a striker. So it's a completely different game plan I'm gonna have on Saturday night, but the rest is going to be the same. You know, the first round finish.
First round. I mean, your last two fights have been incredible. You're on some kind of roll. People, like I said, very excited about you. Think that you will be a future contender, potential champion at 145. Your story is very interesting. You were born in Germany. Your parents are of Georgian descent, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And when you were 15, you moved to Spain. Why did you guys move to Spain?
I don't know. You have to ask it.
You never asked that question? Why are we moving to Spain? That didn't come up?
Yeah, because of the job. You know, we were living in Georgia, and on that time in Georgia, there was a little bit of bad situation, you know, and my parents decided to move to Spain. And I think that's why. And I was a kid, you know, I didn't have any decisions.
Sure. But wait, so when you were born in Germany though, right?
Yeah. I born in Germany. I lived there for 7 years. And then we moved to Georgia, and since 7 to 15, I was living there. Yeah.
And then, and now you call Spain home, but you also train in Miami, correct?
Yeah, I just trained for 2 months in Miami in MMA Masters. But I'm training my whole life in Spain, in Alicante, my team, Climen Club.
How, you don't hear of a lot of people coming out of Spain in mixed martial arts. How popular is MMA and the UFC in Spain these days?
Right now, I'm very happy that it's becoming very popular in Spain. Little by little, step by step, you know. Like I always say, slow is the fastest way to get what you want. So little by little.
Do you get a lot of attention? Like, does the media cover you over there? Are they giving you the respect that you deserve?
Right now, yes. Before 1 year, if you tell someone in Spain something about MMA, they will ask you like, "What's that?"
Wow!
And now everyone knows what's MMA, what's UFC.
Because of you,
everyone. Yeah, I think so, because me and there's another guy into UFC, Joel Alvarez.
Yeah, he's doing great.
And yeah, he's doing very good too. Yeah.
Are there any local promotions in Spain?
Yeah, but nothing special for the moment.
Okay. And so so I understand your father was the one that introduced you to martial arts, right? When you were a little kid, jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. With 4 years, he introduced me in judo. Then when we moved to Georgia, we started training with Greco-Roman wrestling. And finally, when we moved to Spain, we started with BJJ and MMA with all the stuff.
Was he a fighter, or did he train, or he just wanted you, his son, to do it?
No, when he was young, he did wrestling a little bit, but he was a big fan of all the mixed martial arts. You know, he was the first person who talks to me about the UFC, about the Gracies.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you're going to Spain and you're in your teenage years and you're doing this stuff, are the kids that you're in school with, are they saying to you, like, well, why aren't you playing football with us? Why, like, what's this martial arts stuff? Because it's not a part of the culture. It's not that popular there, right?
Yeah. All the kids were so scared with me. They was talking like, this guy is something, I don't know, it's a little bit raid,
Yeah.
because no one, 1 year before, no one knows or was knowing what was MMA. Can you imagine what it was 8 years ago?
Yeah.
It was something a little bit right. When Conor McGregor come in the game, then people start to understand a little bit more about MMA. But even with that, it was a little bit right.
Can you even watch the events live there? Like, will they show UFC live? Like this event on Saturday, will it air live in Spain?
Yeah. It's live in Eurosports. I think before was DAZN.
Yeah.
It's DAZN. Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's Eurosport. Yeah.
And for you, by the way, I'm just curious about this. When you moved to Spain, did you know to speak Spanish?
No.
Wow.
Anyway, I didn't know even how to say hello.
That's tough. As a teenager, that's really tough.
Yeah, it was very tough. It was very tough.
How were those early days?
It was tough, because you try to communicate with the people and you can't. But that's one of the reasons that helps you to learn faster, And I was training all the time. The coach was explaining me all the techniques in Spanish, and I learned to talk in Spanish like in 6 months. And I was young,
Right.
When you are young, it's a little bit easier.
In school, it must have been hard, right? Early on, communicating with the teachers, the kids.
Yes, but I left the school when I was like 15 years old.
Oh, what do you mean? You didn't go to school?
No.
What?
Because when I was 15 years old, I go with my brother to talk to my father, and we tell him like, hey, Dad, we don't want to go to school anymore, but we really want to train, and we're going to go like all day, every day in the gym, and we're gonna train, because my dream was to get to fight in the UFC. And he told me like, if you're really gonna train all the time, and like you tell me, you have my approval.
Wow, what a guy!
Yeah,
a lot of dads wouldn't say yes to that.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I make my debut so young in the UFC,
Yeah.
Because it's very tough to get into UFC from Spain, because I was living in the United States, or I didn't born here, because it's more easier.
So when you're 15, you're in probably 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that, and your dad was just like, all right, cool. You didn't go back to school after that? That was it for you?
Yeah.
Incredible. What a story. And you just went to the gym all day?
All day. And I become to BJJ black belt with 21 years old. I was competing in all the competitions and in national competitions, all the time. And I was working because I had to pay all the competitions. I was working in 4 works, I had 4 works. I was working because I had to pay all the competitions, because it wasn't free.
What were the jobs, the 4 jobs? One was a cashier, right? At Stradivarius. Stradivarius?
Yeah. It's a story of clothes story. Clothes story.
Okay.
And I was doing a grappling classes in another gym. I was working in La Playa, on the beach. On the beach, yeah. And I was working on securities on the weekends.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I went to Barcelona in 2002 when I was in college. One of my favorite trips ever. We went to Playa Barceloneta. You know Barceloneta? Las Ramblas. Oh, we had a great time on Las. Because I have to say it with the Las Ramblas, right? We have to say it with the list.
La Ramblas.
La Rambla. Same thing, yes. Yeah. Oh, what a place. It's a magical place. Incredible.
Yeah, if you come to Spain again, you're going to have a good time. Just call me.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So what about this Arnold Schwarzenegger tournament that you won? Arnold Fighter? What was that all about?
Yeah. It was when I was 17 years old, they did a competition called Arnold Fighters.
Wow.
It was an MMA competition. And when I go to the competition, my fight was the first fight, in the event. And before I start the fight, Arnold come to the cage, and he watched just my fight.
Wow.
After my fight, he comes here to the United States to watch the Conor McGregor's fight against Chad Mendes, because he was supposed to fight with Jose Aldo, and he watched his fight. And I always say, like, Arnold is watching the MMA because of me.
Wow.
Because I had a really great performance. I did a suplex, and this is why I'm all the time joking with my friends.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, of course. I have a picture. There is even a small documentary movie called El Día que Conocí a Arnold. Yeah.
What does that mean?
One day you will see it. Today I meet Arnold.
Oh, it's a movie about you meeting him.
Yeah. It's a movie about the whole competition.
Yeah.
And there is some moments how I meet him, how we did the picture and all this. I was a kid, with that beard and with and you will see that movie will be famous one day.
I bet. Yeah, when you're a UFC champion, people are going to look back to this moment with the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger there. Is that like a yearly tournament they have there, the Arnold Fighter Tournament?
Yeah, I don't know if they keep doing that competition. I don't know. I don't want to lie.
Okay, yeah. But that is a cool thing. Good for you. By the way, what gives you like with a lack of a better, like, how do you have the guts growing up in Spain or being in Spain and saying to your dad, hey, I just want to go to the UFC. I want to train every day, all day. When people don't come from your country where you're living at the time to the UFC, like, what gave you the sort of dream to do that?
I don't know. I ask myself all the time why, but I didn't get that answer. It was something that was living inside myself, and I like a lot to motivate myself. I should wake up every morning and to tell myself, like, hey, Ilia, you have like two options: to keep sleeping and keep with your dreams, or wake up and make it true. So I don't know why. It was something was living inside myself. I didn't have that answer.
And who was your first favorite fighter? Like, who was the one that kind of drew you to the UFC and MMA?
GSP.
Oh, yeah?
GSP. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. When he was the first man, I was thinking, I want to be like him. And Anderson Silva, there was a lot of fighters, Then Conor McGregor comes into the game.
You ever meet GSP?
No, I never meet him. It will be a big pleasure.
Yes, I bet you will. Now, what about your brother? Did he follow the same path as well?
Yeah. He's a professional fighter too. He gets his black belt in the same day like me, but he get an injury in his shoulders. He had a surgery, but now he starts to fight again, and you will see him in the UFC soon. Okay, I bet for it.
I like what weight?
In 61 to bantamweight.
Oh, okay. You used to fight a bantamweight, and then you missed weight, right, with Cage Warriors?
Yeah. I tried to fight in bantamweight. I make that mistake, but never again.
Never again. You think 145? You're still relatively young. You think 145 is going to be your weight, or eventually do you think you'll have to move to 55?
No. I'm gonna stay in 145, and when I'm gonna beat here everyone, and then I'm gonna start to think about move. To 155, but not because to stay in 155 just to make some big fights and come back.
And
so we'll see. I don't like to talk about that things, go up, come down. First of all, I want to smash everyone in this division, take that belt, and then we'll see. Everything will come.
In your mind, how long before you're in the title picture? How long is it going to take?
I think I will be ready for the next year, in the beginnings of the next year, because this year I want to make like 3 or 4 fights, and then I will be ready for the fight. So the next year you're going to see me with the belt.
I love that. And your dad, what does he say about all of this? I guess he feels pretty good about letting you leave school and train, right?
I'm happy. He's happy, and I really appreciate it that he gives me the opportunity to fight for my dreams, this is what I want to do with my kids, you know. Even if he wants to dance, I'm gonna push him, you know. I'm gonna tell him, like, you want to dance, but be the best. You want to fight, but be the best. You want to learn, be the best. And I always will help you, you know.
That is beautiful. Does he watch your fights? I'm assuming he does. I'm assuming he's your biggest fan.
Yeah, of course. He, my mom, my sisters, my brother, my family.
Your mom likes that you fight?
Yeah, of course. She likes what I like, you know.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good mom. And so Saturday, like I said, your last two fights, impressive highlight reel finishes. What are we expecting on Saturday?
So I always say, you know, when I have a proper training camp, I make everyone look easy, you know. Look, my fight against Ryan Hall, people was telling me, you know, he was looking horrible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to happen this Saturday. Now people going to say, this guy didn't train for a day in mixed martial arts. I'm going to make him really easy.
Wow. Okay.
Everyone's going to see it. Yeah.
You're not a big fan of the Ryan Hall style, right?
No, not a big fan. He's a very boring fighter.
I respect your opinion.
I'm honest. There is a lot of guys I like to watching them fight, you know, but there is no Ryan Hall.
Okay. What's this tattoo here? What does this signify? The crown?
Yeah, this is my logo, you know. This is T. Topuria. Yeah, and this is the octagon. And the king of the octagon.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. El Matador. You're El Matador as well. Would you come out if they let you, if there wasn't a uniform, would you come out in the Matador outfit? The jacket, the pants, you know?
Yeah, of course, man.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah, look, one of my dreams is fight in Spain one day to bring that UFC event in Spain, and it will be a pleasure to come in with that Matador shirt.
Oh my gosh! When I was in Spain, I went to a bullfighting, competition in the big arena.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's
always
mean.
Respect all the traditions.
Yeah,
but
you ever do the running of the bulls in Pamplona?
No, I never did it because, like I told you, I'm not a big fan of that. I didn't like when animals suffer and all this stuff.
It's horrible. I didn't realize what they were doing. They were sticking the thing in them. It's horrible. People are cheering this on.
Yeah. I respect it, but I didn't share it.
Yeah. Yeah, you like to beat people up in a cage. That's more civil, right?
Yeah. I like to do it in the cage with the people.
That's right. Well, it's great to have you on the show, my friend. I appreciate your time. Good luck to you. Congrats on all your success up until this point. And I'm very much looking forward to your fight on Saturday against Charles Jourdain. So all the best to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. It was my pleasure.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. There he is, Ilia Topuria, El Matador, not to be confused with the great Tito Santana. You guys remember Tito Santana? What a legend he was back in the day. He was El Matador for a brief moment. But, I mean, a lot of people very high on Ilia. Fought for the Cage Warriors bantamweight title back in June of 2018. Unfortunately, missed weight by a large amount, 139.4. So even though he won the fight via anaconda choke, which is a choke he likes very much. By the way, first fight, 2015, triangle choke. Second fight, 2015, rear naked choke. Third fight, 2016, rear naked choke. Fourth fight, guillotine choke. Fifth fight, guillotine choke. Sixth fight, the one I just talked about, Cage Warriors, anaconda. Seventh fight, triangle armbar. Eighth fight, KO. Ninth fight, UFC debut. Crazy how this works. Decision. Only decision of his career came in his UFC debut, but remember, took that fight against Youssef Zalal on 8 days' notice. 10th fight, knocked out Damon Jackson, first round, back in December of 2020. 11th fight, improved to 11-0 when he knocked out Ryan Hall back in July of 2021. This guy is good, man. This guy is good. And again, he was supposed to fight Movsar Evloev out, Charles Jourdain in. And Jourdain, yes, he did suffer a loss to Julian Erosa, but came back, beat Andre Ewell in December, not that long ago, December 18th, the Derek Lewis Chris Dawkins card. So that's probably, to me, on this card, the most interesting non-title fight. And again, I know a lot of people are hating on the card, but there's, Michel Pereira, always a good time. Cody Stamann against Said Nurmagomedov. Rodolfo Vieira returning, looking to win his second straight after the shocking submission loss last year. Victor Henry getting a chance to make his debut. Interestingly enough, the Topuria fight isn't even on pay-per-view. Is that possible? How's that fight not on pay-per-view? Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup right here. Looks like it's the ESPN prelim headliner. That's wild. I mean, that's great. Get it for free. That's how you make stars. But to me, it's the most interesting non-title fight. So, of course, we have Brandon Moreno versus Deiveson Figueiredo. That's the trilogy fight for the flyweight title. And the one that we have been looking forward to, thinking about, talking about ad nauseum at this point, the massive heavyweight title fight. It always feels special when the heavyweight title is on the line. This one feels extra special because of all the storylines. And so I thought it would be great to have one of the best coaches in mixed martial arts on the program to help us talk about this and all the other exciting things going on in his life and career. He's the head man over at Xtreme Couture, one of the very best in the game right now. He is Eric Nicksick, and he is kind enough to join us again via the magic of Zoom. There he is. Eric, what's happening, my man? Ooh, I like that. You're going with the LA hat in LA. That's very smart. Very smart. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Death Row 2? Damn. You're really going for the cheap pop. I like that.
Let's go. What's up, Ariel? How you doing, brother?
Everyone's very excited here. We're pumped. What a fight. I can't imagine what it's like for you. I saw you guys doing a training session yesterday. There's a lot to talk to you about, so I really appreciate the time, Eric, and congrats on a tremendous 2021 for you and the entire team. You guys are just killing it out there. And so what a way to start the year for you and the team. Could I ask, as I just said, like there's a lot of drama going into this fight, right? A lot of drama. And I know you're the X's and O's guy, you're the guy, but you know Francis. I mean, I see him with your child. Like you guys are tight. Dare I say you're very good friends. Do you feel like the drama is getting to be too much? Is he able to block it all out? Is he focused on Saturday?
Yeah, very much so. And I think he just kind of understands that this is the relationship that him and Ferdinand had in the past. I think it's something that he's put behind him. And we don't really talk a whole lot about it, to be honest with you. It doesn't make like billboard material. We don't really get into like a lot of that stuff, especially during camp. You know, we spoke about it, I think, a while back as a friend. Like he kind of let me in on some of the stuff. And, the thing that he said to me that I thought was very, like as a parent, like it just made sense. I was like kind of proud of him. He's like, hey, my relationship with Ferdinand shouldn't affect your relationship with Ferdinand or anybody else for that matter. My relationship with him is what it is because of this, and this. But I don't think anybody else should be disrespectful or try to defend me or try to make my beef with him their beef as well. And I actually ran into Ferdinand in the lobby, and I said that to him today. I was like, man, it's nothing but respect for me. So your guys' relationship is your guys' thing. And to be quite fair, man, hopefully one day those guys can resolve that because I think that there's just some communication things that need to be handled.
That is very mature, Francis, of you and of, I would presume, Fernand Lopez. When you saw him earlier, did he reciprocate? Was it all good on his side?
Yeah, like when I saw him, I kind of made a mention about his Instagram post, and I was like, Coach, like things are getting a little bit out of context. It shouldn't be about me and you. It should be about the athletes. And he agreed. And, I think tensions are high when it comes to a former coach and a former athlete in the positions that they are. And I said, listen, man, you should be celebrated for the work you've done with your fighters. Point blank. I was like, you've done a phenomenal job. I think you're a great MMA coach. And I think it should be just left at that. And then come Saturday, I'll be the first to tip my hat across from you from the cage. Let's go out and perform and compete against one another. And after, I'll be sure to shake your hand. But, other than that, man, there's no tensions between me and him or anybody else. It shouldn't be that way.
At any point, you feel like it crossed the line, got a little too personal? Do you feel like it just was unnecessary? Yeah,
I think so. But, also too, Ariel, I think for me, like I have to be able to to gather the facts. Sometimes I'll see things on social media or I'll see something on Instagram, and we all as a society, I think we take it as literal, you know. And I actually took a page from you. You and I are talking one day about like actual journalism. And it's like, man, I'm not going to come out and say something until I do my homework and make sure that that's actually true. So I saw something that was posted. It was a quote that Ferdinand quote that he made. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of a shitty thing to say. And then I think, well, what's the source? Where did he say that at? What was the information that was said? Because you have to give your due diligence as a person first and foremost. But before I make a decision or a thought on somebody, I take that with a little grain of salt with this day and age, and with everybody at the fingertips of social media. You know, I know guys that are 19, 20 years old that have 500,000 followers that you don't even know who they are behind a Instagram page that really can cause and affect certain people. I've done interviews with Instagram people that when they started talking, I'm like, you don't even know how to pronounce this fighter's name, but you're out there saying things about people and making this narrative. So I have to give the benefit of the doubt a lot of times when it comes to certain journalism or things that are being said.
One thing I was curious to get your take on was, you know, this release of old training footage. It always sort of feels like there's a code, right, that you don't talk about that stuff. How did you feel when some of this old footage was released of them training together?
So again, like I try to look at it from a different perspective. I try to think to myself, well, is this something that is practiced by that gym? Have they done this in the past? Is it kind of like we have our code from the old school regime of Xtreme Couture and it was frowned upon, but maybe in a different society or a different gym or a different country that it's okay to do that. Maybe it's welcomed. Maybe it's to help bring notoriety to certain gyms and teams. So I have to think of it from a different perspective. Secondly, like, I don't know if Ferdinand was actually the person to release that footage. That was never told we just assumed that it was. So I have to look at all those circumstances. But I was asked numerous times about, have I personally ever released sparring footage? My answer to that is still no. I never personally have. I have hours and hours of footage, but me personally, I was raised by Jay Heron and Mike Pyle, the old school guys. That was frowned upon. We just didn't do that. But that was the era and time I was brought up in. Doesn't make it wrong. We're in a new society where everything's at your fingertips, phones, social media, and everything else. So, but I just was brought up a little bit differently when it came to that. So me personally, like, I think if it's a common practice for your gym and your team and you do that consistently, then you shouldn't be mad about that situation. I don't release sparring footage. I don't think there's a place for it, but to each is their own.
You know, this fight obviously is super unique for so many reasons. One of which is obviously the history between Fernand Lopez and Francis Ngannou. At any point, because you're Francis's guy now, have you felt like you needed to bite your tongue? You want to defend your guy, you want to talk on your guy's behalf, but you don't want to make this about like you and the gym and their gym and all that stuff, because like I said, the buildup to this one is one of the more unique buildups in recent memory.
For sure. And I think a lot of times you just have to take the mature route in a lot of those areas. Like, yeah, you like when he posted a couple Sundays ago, Ferdinand posted on his Instagram, and it was completely taken out of context. He was like calling me kind of a hypocrite, saying that I don't post gym videos of sparring. And then he took Francis's YouTube channel with his YouTube team and posted their sparring footage and made it look like it was me posting. And I'm seeing it, and your first instinct is to do what? Defend yourself, yell at the guy, make it a problem. And I just said, Coach, you're taking this out of context. And I explained it to him. And I said, hey, safe travels. See you when I see it. And then he kind of like, there was like one back and forth. And I said, it's Sunday, man. I'm spending time with my kids. I'm not going to talk about this right now. This isn't about me and you. May the best man win. See you next week. And I shut it down. That was it.
This is what, via DM or something?
No, I wrote it on his
Oh,
on his
wow.
page,
Okay. Wow.
On his page. Yeah.
Respect.
I wrote it right on his page. And then he tweeted something, and I wrote it back to him again. I was like, look, man, like, I'm not going back and forth with you. This shouldn't be about me and you, man. Like, I get it that you wanted to defend yourself in this scenario, this situation, but you're taking this all out of context. I was asked a very simple question. Do I share sparring footage? My answer was no. You took it as like I was attacking you. The question was just, have I ever shared sparring footage? And the answer remains no.
Okay. And respect for defending yourself, but not taking it to the point where, you know, it creates more drama and more headlines and more distractions. And now in the build up to this fight, is like the UFC is going to talk about the relationship and all that. us on the media side, we know about probably the even more interesting aspect to this, and that's the contract situation. And that's, last fight of the deal and what could happen. And he's talked about it. Markel, his agent, Martin, has talked about it. And what I was saying on the show on Monday was, I think this is a pick. I think they're both tremendous fighters. And you could sit here and probably make a very strong case for Ciryl to win. And I'll say, yeah, that makes sense. And that's why I'm so excited for this fight. These are the best fights, right? I worry from a Francis perspective, and I'd love to get your take on this, is there's too much going on. Like sometimes when we see guys who are battling the UFC in there, in addition to the opponent, it becomes too much, right? You're not just battling the opponent, you're battling Fernando Lopez, you're battling Dana White, you're battling the media and all that. He's bet on himself here, right? Last fight of his deal, who knows what's going to happen? Is there do you fear at any point in this process that there's just too much going on, too much happening up here, too much drama?
I don't feel like that at all, and that's something I think inherently that you would come to that conclusion, like, okay, is this getting a little out of hand? But then my communication with them and stuff that I talked to him about, I don't get that vibe from it at all. Like this is very much that Jerry Maguire, Rod Tidwell moment. It's like, I'm betting on myself and I think I'm going to win. I think I can do this. We went over some of the scenarios and what the possibilities were if win, lose or draw, like what happens. And he's at peace with everything, Ariel. Like he's comfortable. He's like, hey, I'm going to be fine. I feel good about my situation I'm in, no matter what. And it gave me a sense of peace, man. Because yes, inherently I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then like this is giving me anxiety. And dude, he's just so calm and cool, and he doesn't bring a lot of added energy or bad energy or anything to the training sessions, or he comes over for dinner and he's just a bro. So yeah. I'm like, okay, if you feel good about everything and you're happy and you're content with everything, my job is to help you further those goals and achieve that mission. So I'm all in whatever you decide on, no matter what. But yeah, man, I felt like that for a little while. I was losing some sleep, but he feels good about it, so I feel good about it.
Tremendous. And the other interesting thing for me is I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. I think he doesn't get promoted well. We could go on and on about the missteps, but we haven't seen him since March. So I'm just wondering, like, how much better is he? What has he worked on? What do you think he has improved on since the last time? It's almost been a year, and the guy hasn't been injured. It's not like he's been trying, to rehab a knee. The guy's been 100% healthy. So in your opinion, what has he improved on the most since we've last seen him?
That's the best time that we have, honestly. We have so much fun because there's not specifics when it comes to camp. We had an idea. It was going to be John Jones, Derek Lewis, or Ciryl Gane, kind of in that scope, right? In the landscape of what the heavyweight division looks like. So you can you can start trying to game plan for those specific fighters, or you can go out and just work on your growth and get better in areas that you feel like you can add to your game and your skill set. And that's kind of what we did. It was nice because in a lot of ways too, Ariel, we had a camp with Derek Lewis already going. And then the fight, remember, was set for September. Then it got switched and everything else. So he went home for a month and then came right back. And then we were right back to work. So I just think his all-around skill set, we try to blend everything in. He's obviously been wrestling a lot more. He's obviously working on his ground game and things like that. But it's great when you do that. But how do you blend it together, right? I think it's important to make sure that you set up your striking with your wrestling and show the level changes when you have both attributes that you're able to use. So really the blend and the combination of the MMA skill set, I think, is what we worked on the most.
Can you even put into words, can you describe what it is like taking a kick from Francis Ngannou? When I see that footage of you, I know you got mitts on and all that stuff, but like you're padded up, but it looks painful just watching that. Can you even describe what it feels like? Multiple ones. Boom, boom, boom.
I've been hit in the back with a baseball bat before. And literally the bat broke. It was a wooden bat. It broke across my back, and it didn't bother me one bit. And then I've been kicked by Francis to the point where I couldn't walk for 2 weeks, man. Like it's bad. It hurts, man. It hurts bad. And with leg pads on, I'll have the Fairtex pad on, and like he'll start kicking that pad, and the pad all of a sudden feels like it starts to get scared, and the pad starts to move apart.
Wow.
You're like, oh man, this thing's gonna land hard. This thing's gonna land flush. So yeah, it's a different type of power, man. Like the way this man can kick and punch and throw and generate power. It's ungodly. I just, there's nothing that you can train to be like that type of power. I think it's just our job as coaches to be able to understand what's next. How do you add on to that power? How do you not fall over that power? And then what attributes or what strikes can you do to go off of that? And don't let it allow to be the end of that power shot. So those are things I think that we've worked on a lot. But dude, I'll tell you what, man, poor Dewey's elbows, my legs,
oh God, I can't imagine.
Just getting beat up constantly.
By the way, why were you hit over the back with a baseball bat?
It was a good college story.
Okay. Was it a friend who did it to you, or was it an enemy?
No, I mean, it was a little fight. A little fight broke out, and the guy tried to help his buddy. His buddy was underneath, and I was elbowing him up pretty good, and he came behind me with the back with the baseball bat. And the bat broke like across my back, and the guy jumped in his car, and we ran over to the car and broke out his window.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Damn, you're a gangster.
That got me in a little bit of trouble. So
I can't imagine
the old days.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine nailing someone in the back with a bat and the guy not flinching, and just like when you look back, you're like, that's all you got? Should have brought in a loop.
I looked back at him. And pointed at him. Yeah. It didn't work out too well for him that night.
Damn. What impresses you about Gane? Still like just 3.5 years in the game.
Man, he's an anomaly. The guy's efficient. That's the biggest thing I think when I look at him, his efficiency. He's not a guy who's gonna try to like overthrow things. Like everything's set up very nicely. Very nice vertical motion. His bouncing in and out. And the other thing too that really stands out to me, Ariel, is like he doesn't really get squared up. He's not like in a position where he's getting just, in the pocket, feet in the sand, and he's just throwing punches. A lot of that to me just feels like, he understands his range really, really well. So, and that's just with the striking. I think every once in a while he mixes in some of his clinch game, his wrestling, some of his groundwork. And it's important to show that on tape because it makes us as coaches study more and work more because we know that he's pretty well-rounded. So, this guy is very deserving of his position in fighting for the title, and I think he's one of those guys that's going to be up there for a long period of time. And everything goes right. I expect Francis and him to probably fight 3 times within their career.
Do you think it's important not to use the full 25 minutes here?
I would like that. I think that's important in a lot of ways where, we know what we have and what we're capable of doing. And we train for 25-minute fights, right? Like, I think you have to get that out of your head. And for me doing my due diligence with Francis, I spent a lot of time with him and understanding what went wrong in the Stipe fight. And that helped me build on things. And a lot of the things I feel like he was overlooking, not necessarily, but maybe his fears was the deep waters. And I think when you put that in your head, you start to automatically put yourself there. So we started talking to him about it. And I used to always say like, well, what's your boogeyman? And what are you afraid of? And he was like, deep waters and my cardio and this. And I said, bro, well, what happens if you can conquer that boogeyman? And he goes, well, you're the baddest man on the planet. I said, well, let's get to work, motherfucker. Let's get going, So he believed in the process and understands that like, hey, you can hit hard. We don't need to work on that. We don't need to change that. But let's work on these other areas that can incentivize you to be able to hit hard for a longer period of time.
Do you believe as a coach that like everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. If someone has a cardio problem, is that fixable to the point where it's no longer a problem, or is it always something that you have to work on? Essentially, like we've always heard about like Conor, people would always say cardio problem, and maybe he can make it a little bit better to where he doesn't get as tired as early as he did in the past, but it's always going to be like this Achilles heel for him. Can you fix that to the point where it's not an issue? And if so, how do you fix that?
I think a lot of times too, Ariel, it's mental. You hear somebody and they'll say like, I've had a fighter one time like, man, I just fade in the 3rd round. And I'm like, you're putting that already in your head. You're telling yourself when the 3rd round comes, I'm going to fade, right? And I'm like, stop saying that shit. Like, let's not make it a problem. Let's make it a solvable situation. Let's start thinking mindset wise first. Let's start there in the head. And then let's start putting the pieces together when it comes to cardio stuff. So, obviously like our Sicko Saturdays have kind of become famous where we run simulation rounds and doing all these things. And it really started off with, man, like me and Dan Ige. Like we're the only 2 guys that were really doing it, coach and fighter, couple other guys, Eddie Baraka would come in and we would do this stuff. But it started to catch a trend. And now all of a sudden, every fighter is in the gym every Saturday at our gym doing these cardio sessions because they work. They work. You're starting to see that. And I tell guys, like, look, man, it's one thing to beat somebody. It's one thing to knock somebody out and win a fight. It's another thing to demoralize somebody. It's another thing to beat somebody up for 14 minutes and 58 seconds and then finish them. Because there is no, like, I got caught. It wasn't my night. No, you got the living shit kicked out of you. And here's how we're going to start implementing those things. So I lean heavy on the UFC PI. They do a great job. The strength and conditioning coaches around the area, they do a great job. We're always in contact. But we run these hard practices Monday through Thursday. We run these hard practices in the mornings, and we run these sicko Saturdays that I think the overall concept of the standard of the team is built off of cardio. So I do think it's fixable, and I do think it starts with the mental side first, and then you can start tapping into the physical stuff.
How many fighters, do you know off the top of your head, how many fighters are you the head coach for right now? How many pros?
17, 18.
Is that
like a bunch?
Is that enough? Is that too much? Like, how do you deal? Because like right now, you've been in LA or the OC whatever since probably when Tuesday you got there, right? So like you can't be there for your other guys. Like how are you able to deal with all this? Because you're head coach of a basketball team, right? You're with those same 15 guys and you're traveling. Like you don't, when you're spending time with this guy, it's not like you're ignoring that guy or girl. But in your field, I always wonder about the MMA coach who has to travel. It seems like almost every weekend. I guess you've been lucky having all the Apex events, so you don't have to travel as much. You're in Vegas. But how are you at dealing with all the different schedules and all the different fighters that you're looking after?
We have such a talented coaching staff in our gym, Ariel, that I think that you have to be able to trust and understand that, like, you have to lean on one another. And, without Jimmy Gifford and Eddie Bracco and Dennis Davis and Ray and Nate and all the boys over at Xtreme Couture, we're able to share a lot of the responsibilities. And furthermore, we're all taking care of our fighters and one another. So I think it starts with me as the leader, and my job is to make sure I take care of my team first, and then I eat last. Leaders eat last, right? So I have to lean on those guys when I'm out of town, and vice versa. When they go and they're on the road, I'm going to pick up the slack when Eddie's gone for Casey O'Neill, or Eddie's going to pick up the slack for me for Kai Kamaka or Dan Ige. And man, it's just one hand washes the other, and we're all just loving the success that we can build with one another in the team. And that really starts with me, man. It's my attitude and the way we have to be able to communicate with one another and make sure guys are getting paid correctly, make sure guys are getting taken care of. Because without that stuff, you're absolutely right, Ariel, that stuff starts to fall apart. Guys don't feel like they're getting taken care of. So Puna, Sean Strickland, Ian Kudalaba, they all have fights coming up. So now that I'm gone, I let them know, like, hey, Coach Nate is here. Here's what I want with the schedule with Nate. Or Ray's in town. I need this with Ray. There's a communication between all of us, and there hasn't been a problem, man. Everybody picks up the slack.
You posted recently a tribute a few weeks ago about the late Robert Follis, and you wrote something that I wanted to ask you about. You wrote, 4 years gone, and I'm still learning from you. The longer I'm in this sport, the more I understand the things you were going through. Rest easy, coach. What did you mean by that? The longer I'm in this sport, the more I understand the things that you were going through.
He had a lot of I wouldn't say hate, but resentment towards the sport. I think the way he was paid as a coach, the way he was treated, and none of us were innocent by that regard. I think for me, being the gym manager at Xtreme Couture, we butted heads on certain things. I know a lot that he dealt with fighters paying him correctly or on time. There's a lot, Ariel. There's a lot. And here's a man who was going through a lot himself, and I think the loss of his brother during that time was when I really started seeing the change in Coach Follis. And a lot of it, it hurt, man. It sucked. It sucked to see, because you can only do so much when somebody's leans on alcohol, And I had my own problems with it from my own history, because like I was around an alcoholic family, and I started to see somebody in a guy that I thought was a father figure in Robert Follis. And I started having issues with myself knowing I was around him, but I couldn't help him either, man. So, he always now that he's been gone for so long, I see him clearly now, if that makes sense. Like he comes to me more, maybe in my dreams or my thoughts, and he comes clear. He comes like from a happy, safe place. And I talk to his brother weekly. Rick Falls and I are very close. And being able to talk to Rick in a weird way, Ariel, is like, I feel like I'm able to talk to Rob. And, you know, a lot of times I think that like the only dude to ever really believe in me the way certain people did was Robert. He believed in me before I believed in myself. He knew that I can do this at the highest level. He felt that my leadership was going to catch up to my skill set. And, you know, without him, man, I'm just not in this position. So anytime I have a moment to honor him, I know Gym of the Year was a big goal of his for us to win. I know Coach of the Year for me last year was the first person I wrote was Rick Fallis, you know, because I know that was going to be important to him. So I hold him very near and dear to my heart, especially now that he's been gone. I think we've all had a little time to heal. And, man, I miss him dearly. So a lot of his lessons in life, a lot of his moreover lessons in life than his MMA lessons, I think resonate with me more now.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful to hear. I did want to ask you about Rico Verhoeven. You guys posted a couple of stuff of him stopping by the Glory Heavyweight champion of the world, obviously the kickboxing legend. How much of a factor was he in this game? Was that just like a couple of days and that was it, or did you guys use him a lot?
We didn't get to use him as much as we'd like to have, but you know, the whole idea of bringing Rico in was, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, well, Rico's not really the same style as Ciryl Gane. Well, Rico's one of the baddest kickboxers on the planet, and he can mimic any style that he wants. But that wasn't why we brought him in. We brought him in because I wanted him to move around with Francis and see if he could pick up anything that we were doing that were tells from his vantage point, from his skill set, from his eyes. You know, hey, is there things that we're doing that are exposing ourselves in certain areas? I thought of it more of a defensive side of things more than an offensive side of things. I wanted an expert eye of one of the best kickboxers on the planet to break our guy down and work on things. So I kind of reverse engineered it, I think, more than we were trying to bring him in to spar.
I'm fascinated with coaching. I coached high school basketball back in the day. That's pretty much the extent of my career. But coaches are very interesting to me, and also who they draw inspiration from. Like when you hear of, you know, like Phil Jackson, right? Famously, he would have all kinds of books that you would never expect a coach to give a book like that to his star players and stuff. Like, who do you draw inspiration from? Whether it's fellow coach, I know like Teddy Atlas, I can't imagine when he comes into the gym those couple of times that you're not like, wow, I want to pick this dude's brain. What a legend. Who do you draw inspiration from, and within the coaching ranks and maybe outside that you try to use their philosophies, influences on your fighters?
I'll say first and foremost is my dad. You know, I played football under my dad. He was our defensive coordinator. My dad's a lifelong coach in football. My uncle as well. You know, coming up under them, grew up on the football field, Ariel. I mean, every day I was on the field with them. You know, I was a 4-year starter, not starter, but I was 4 years on varsity. So, I mean, being around like high level coaching talent. And then when I got to college, you know, so definitely my dad and my uncle, but I would say in the MMA field, man, definitely Tyson Jourdain, James Krause, Coach Hoof, Henry Hoof, you know, Trevor. But Tyson and I lean on each other a lot, and we're very, very close, very close. I probably talk to Tyson maybe every other day. I usually go to him on situations or just advice on stuff and vice versa. So we're very open and candid. And that relationship kind of built on, you know, years ago, 7-8 years ago, we'd be on the road. Remember how it'd be like red corner, blue corner in the dressing rooms or the locker rooms? Mm-hmm. And you'd come in during the week and you would kind of rub elbows with these guys and these coaches. And for some reason why him and I just really hit it off, man. And we've been close ever since. So definitely Tyson. And I couldn't be more proud of him and Calvin and the New England Cartel, what they did last week. And, you know, bouncing back off that fight with Max Holloway, I thought was important. But, you know, I think for us as coaches, man, it's important to have that little camaraderie, I think, with the fraternity of guys that we can lean on.
For sure. Can I ask you in closing, are you a predictions guy? What are you feeling for Saturday?
Man, I'm not really a predictions guy, but, you know, for me, I'm a vibe guy, like the vibe and the energy of everything. And being in Vegas with obviously the gym and the family and the hustle and bustle, it's like, dude, you're just running from one stop to the next. And I could not wait to get out here for fight week because everything just becomes tunnel vision for me. I got one focus and one task at hand. And then the moment we landed and the moment we got here and like the clarity and like the energy with all the coaches and everything else, the vibe just felt amazing. So I'm super excited for Saturday. In my head, you know, I think Francis knocks him out. That's just my feelings and my vibes on the situation. And of course, I'm not going out on a limb. If Francis is going to win, it's probably going to be by knockout, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm more of that energy feel, Ariel. So that's how I feel about the situation, man. Everybody's lighthearted and having a good time, and you know, we're excited for Saturday.
I can't wait, man. Again, congrats on what you're doing. I mean, the list of fighters that you have there, when you show those pictures, other fighters, is like, holy crap, this is an army. And it's so great to see Xtreme Couture, because I have a soft spot in my heart for Xtreme Couture, because I remember going there when I first started my career and walking around, and there's Forrest, and there's Gina, and there's Mike Pyle, and Jay Haran. And I mean, you obviously the Coutures, Randy, Ryan, and the fact that you guys have been able to stand tall all these years and all the ups and downs is an amazing thing. And now you're still one of the very best gyms in the sport, and you're one of the best coaches in the sport. So I wish you guys nothing but the best on Saturday. Respect to how you're handling everything leading up to this, all the drama. I give you a lot of respect for that, and I hope it all goes for your sake in your favor come Saturday night.
I thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on again.
All right, there he is, Eric Nicksick. Big fight for him and the entire Xtreme Couture team, of course, for Francis and Ngannou on Saturday, and hopefully by the time this fight is done, and maybe they will fight each other again, because I have a feeling Francis isn't going anywhere. I've said that even if he loses, I think there's a good chance he resigns, and obviously Ciryl isn't going anywhere. And I think Fernand Lopez deserves a lot of credit for being one of the best coaches in the sport. What he's been able to do. With Nassourdine as well, and Ciryl, and I mean, we're talking Paris, France. There weren't a lot of fighters coming out of there not that long ago, and so it's pretty amazing what he's been able to accomplish as well. And hopefully, when this is all said and done, they can all come together, shake hands, move on, and not make it as personal as it has been. He does bring up a really good point about the events outside. I complain about the Apex and all that, but I would imagine for people who are based in Las Vegas, getting out of Las Vegas for a big fight week is probably really refreshing, because it's probably tough as a husband, as a father, as a head coach to 17 or so fighters, not to mention all the other fighters at the gym and all the other responsibilities at the gym. It's got to be tough to shut off, right? Oh, it's Tuesday. I'm not going to be here, and I'm not going to take care of all this stuff. I'm just going to be with that fighter. If you're on the road, if you're in Orange County, if you're in Houston, if you're in New York, whatever, it's able to just have that tunnel vision. So I would imagine for busy guys like Eric and the other great coaches around this sport, that these road events, these road pay-per-views are probably just what the doctor ordered. An interesting little wrinkle there that I didn't really think about, but it makes total sense. So I can't wait for that fight. Obviously, we're going to talk about it a little later on with GC, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions about it as well. So stay tuned. For now, though, let's move along to our next guest. Of course, he has been in the news as of late, and I believe this is his first interview since the fight on December 18th. No need for a long intro. We're talking to Tyron Woodley now, who, of course, is coming off that fight against Jake Paul, and he's kind enough to join us, as always, right here on the program. There he is. What's up, Tyron? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. How you doing?
This is good. This helps my anxiety. The last time you were on, you were like moving. There's tons of people talking to you. You're on a set. I don't know where you were. There's a lot going on.
And I had a busted up phone too. Like
yes.
the phone's all shattered.
Yes.
So it's like a double glare.
Okay.
I got a new phone yesterday because I was like, you know what? I'm not going back on the MMA hour and busted up phone again. Made all that damn money in your phone still ghetto.
I know. This is great. This is beautiful. You got the nice pictures back there. You got Eazy-E, you got Tupac. This is nice.
Little West Coast love.
Yes, respect. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about, Tyron. We have a lot to talk about. Could I just ask, how are you doing? It's been it's been 32 days since the fight, since that moment. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Obviously, I got an opportunity to take the fight against Jake, and I was training. I felt good. And like I told you guys, man, I was going to look in better shape than him, like cardio-wise. And I knew that, and I was pressing him. And just thinking back to the fight, the only real regret I got is just dropping my hand over that one time, man. Like literally, like I was watching a video over and over again. Like when I watch a fight, especially a clip like that, I kind of separate myself from the clip. So I didn't really see like me getting knocked out by a YouTube kid. I saw a fucking phenomenal punch landing at the perfect time. So when I was looking, I was trying to look at body language. I was trying to look at the feint and what made me drop my left hand. It's hard to explain from here, but my right hand I drop and I kind of parry body punches sometimes because my coach don't like it a ton. But when I drop my right hand, if somebody fakes me out with a left jab and really makes it a left hook, I can always come back to this point, right? This hand is very detrimental to do that because you know my number one punch was overhand right. So when you do that with your left hand, if somebody act like they're going straight to the body, look down and come overhand, you don't really have enough time to get your hand back up. And even if you do, you give a chance for the hand to sneak around here. So I never dropped my left hand, not in training, not in practice, not on the bag. It's something that my coaches are super, super glued to. So I looked at the video and you can see me from my angle. I'm looking at his face and his body language show overhand. And I do like this to shield over, right? And the second I do that, I'm looking at him. I don't know if he did like that and had a delayed throw, but something made me do this. And I don't know what the fuck it was, but that's really the only thing that's been playing in my mind over and over and over and over and over again. But I want to allow people to take away the fact that, one, I stepped up when nobody really was available. I was in shape. I was prepared. I was ready. I won every round. I think he might have won the second round when I look back at the fight. I won every round, even was winning that round up until that one moment. So I won't let my hand dropping for 1 second and him perfectly timing the punch at the same time make me completely take away everything that happened. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing, just the fucking why, man. Why did I drop my hand at that moment in time? And, you know, if I would have won, then this, then that, then this, and everything that he's getting, the way he's getting is what he's getting. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are saying that, oh, you lost to him again. Oh, you got knocked out. He would literally fuck a lot of y'all up. Like MMA fighters and other people that just bumping at the gums. He's an athletic kid that don't have no job beyond this. He don't have no kids. He don't have no business he's running. He can have the best training, the best coaches, the best nutrition, the most focus. He can separate himself. He don't have the financial burden to not. Most MMA fighters, when we first start, we don't have money. We do what we can do. We get whatever training that can help us out to see a future in us. But he came into boxing knowing how to push a machine of numbers. That's all we are doing is entertainment. This is numbers. You know what I mean? This is pay-per-view. This is getting eyeballs on there. So I had to just really take a moment to recognize what God has for me is for me. What God has for that young man is for him. You know, I can't let one drop hand. This is one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in a fight. But at the same token, had I not dropped that hand, had I continued to fight the way it was going, we'd have been looking at something different. So I got to just, you know, take the bitter with the sweet and just keep moving. That's why I did that challenge. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let the motherfucking internet or nobody else make me crawl up in the shell and, you know what I mean, not come outside, not post and not say nothing for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I can't afford to do that. I got too much shit that was coming out before this fight even happened to even let it pause. So that's why I did the challenge. That's why I'm at, Ariel. I'm in a better place. If I sit here and lie to you and act like I was, it was nothing. No, it was something for sure. You know, something that fucked with me for a long time. And it still kind of bothers me. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm moving forward. I got a lot of fighting left. I got a lot of fighting this year. I got a lot of TV stuff, music stuff. I got a lot of entertainment stuff this year in general. So I'm trying to get it cracking.
I can't imagine what it's like. You know, like this is a real thing. In the age that we live in with Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all that, everyone is so quick to post the clip, right? Everyone wants to post the clip. Look at this dude getting posterized. Look at this dude getting, you know, stiff arm, breaking ankles, stuff like that. And with your clip, I mean, it exploded, right? Millions upon millions of views. And you didn't hide. And this was
the one I posted on my page has fucking millions of views.
I can't imagine.
These motherfuckers ain't like no other post on my page that much. And they like the shit out of that one.
How did you, like, what allowed you? Because I would imagine most people would try to hide. Why did you feel like
I wasn't. I'm not too many people out of my, like, you look at my record in MMA, most of my wins are knockouts, you know what I mean, or finishes of some sort. So, you know, I had like 19 fights and between 12 to 14 of those were stoppages. And people have retired after I fought them. Look at Jay Heron and Kashek was close to retiring. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm not that guy, and I'm not going to allow people to do that. So I had to sit back and think about it. I'm like, it's going to be a me, regardless on what I want, regardless on if I can say, oh, you just the one-hand look right here, everything else. Nobody cares about everything else. Nobody cares about second place. Nobody cares about how the fight was going before then. Nobody cares that if you really think about it, I feel like I won the first fight, and I was winning everything of that fight. So had one judge said I won the first fight, had I kept my hand up for this fight, we're talking about a whole different thing. Nobody gives a fuck about that. They don't care. They just care about what's viral at that moment. And it was viral, one, because it was him. Two, because, you know, his fans and people that hate him or love him, they're going to keep talking. They're not going to never be silent. So that's what it was. And, you know what I mean? One thing it ain't the end. And it ain't fucking going, it's not going to define me. And it's definitely not going to stop me.
Were you worried in the moment that this would define you, that this would be your lasting image in the sport? Like,
hell no. No, I never thought that.
Okay, good.
Never thought that. Never thought that, and everything that I had before, all it did was basically, I was going to fight 3 times this year anyway, maybe 4. But it just basically, when I fought in December, it kind of took away the chance of me fighting in January. I was going to fight in January most likely. So all it did was replace that. I'm still going to fight a couple more times this year. Go out there and kick some ass, get back in the winning side, and just show people who I am. And remember, like, it's so easy to quit. And people want you to quit because it makes you their equal. They're willing to quit. It's something they always do. They quit jobs like a motherfucker. They get on a treadmill. They quit, even though they told themselves 30, they quit after 10. They quit on their diet 1 weekend to January. People and humans, it's so much easier to quit. So when you can try to encourage somebody else to quit, it makes us feel equal. We're not equal because I'm built different. I've done this way differently for way longer than most people would expect. I've been an athlete since I was 10 years old. I'll be 40 this year. 30 years straight, no off season, no break ever in my life. For 30 years straight, never took a PED, never really even fucking seen one, never fucking abused the system, always did hard work, always gave my all. And at the end of the day, people don't understand that that's not optional to me. Until God tells me that it's something different from me, or I'm supposed to do something, or if my body looked as if I couldn't keep up, or these younger kids were too fast for me, that's never been the case. Technique-wise, skill-wise, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, you know what I mean, power punching, speed, all those attributes I still maintain. So it's just not getting discouraged and not allowing people, because my mom said I'm off to say anything. But I'm from the show me state. You got to show me. And I think the best thing I can do is show people. You know what I mean? And you know who I am. I don't have to keep advertising myself. You know what I did. But when I go out there and I show people, that action replaces. You know what I mean? It may not replace his 6 lessons in a row, but it'll be a good start to get back in the win column and start chomping away. And that's how you start seeing the dynamic switch. People forget what the fuck even happened before if you go out and smoke 2, 3, 4 people in a row. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Think about like, when was the last time Conor won a fight? When was the last time one of the Diaz brothers won a fight? Look at Anderson Silva before he came. Shout out to Anderson. Mm-hmm. Man, Anderson doing some training is one of the fucking greatest messages I got in my life. I know this is a complete tangent, but it's a complete bucket list. He's an OG, triple OG. I've been watching him and seeing his son training in the backyard. Super impressed with his career, super impressed with his comeback towards the end, especially in boxing. So I spoke to him a week or so ago, and we're going to start training. And that's that's like a life goal to me, to train with fucking the greatest of all time. So, yeah, you know, I just don't allow people, you know, to tell me. Like, you know what I mean? Anderson's hard. Glover Teixeira's hard. And these dudes, sometimes in MMA, you get better with age, unfortunately. It's just the way it works.
So the fights in 2022, you said, you know, maybe 3 or so, whatever. Are these MMA fights? Or no, I know you're still fighting.
I am doing MMA. I want to do boxing one more time before I do MMA, because I feel like boxing, you got to kind of do it a couple of times. Like, it's like me doing music. I never got to start fucking with a mixtape. I never did. My first song was with Wiz Khalifa. A dude that got fucking the first one to get 1 billion views on YouTube and went diamond as an artist 10 times. We'll see you again with Fast and Furious. I didn't get a jump start. Boxing, I was on the main stage. I was on the main stage ASAP, Showtime, main event, sold out crowd, millions of people viewing from the jump. So I understand that what I did in MMA is not going to allow me to have those build-up fights and those build-up moments. I'm going to be right out there, and I'm okay with that. And I feel like regardless on whether I thought I won the first fight or a mistake in the second fight, I rose to the occasion. I was Gucci with the PR. I was Gucci with the press conference. I was Gucci with the face-to-face. That shit was funny too. I handled everything the right way, and I still went out there and I executed. It didn't go the way that I wanted to go. But nobody can never say Tyron didn't show up. Tyron wasn't in shape. Tyron looked like he didn't take it serious. No, I was in there.
By the way, why is the moon?
It felt good to be in there.
Why is the moon out there? Why is the moon outside? I'm just joking. That was a reference from the face-to-face when you were like, why is the moon out right now? Remember that?
Hey, that's what's out, though. You know what? That face-to-face was weird because the first one was, me fucking piss and vinegar, and then I didn't know how to take him, man. But I always expect a little bit of, a little mental warfare with him. He's trying to be super nice and shit. And then he all in my face, I'm going to lock you up. Like, I knew he was going to do some dumb shit.
You have the watch still?
Yeah, you know what? I took the watch to this jewelry store in Atlanta called Icebox, like this famous jewelry store where all these celebrity people go to. So I took it in there, not to see if it was real. I wanted to see if they put because these dudes, man, you can never look past them. I wanted to see if they put a little microphone in there, like a little tracker or some shit, because I didn't know. So I took it in there. That was good. They wanted to see if it was real because it was something came out that fight week that he had on like a Richard Mille or some watch that was fake or whatever. My thing is why do people care? Ocho Cinco said this a long time ago. He said, all my shit is fake. He said, my earrings come from Claire. My diamonds are fake, but I'm rich. Why are you walking around with all this jewelry on, you know what I mean? Faking like, you know what I mean? You got something, but if you rich, you're rich. So I don't believe in wearing fake jewelry. I just feel like if I got to do all that, I ain't going to do it. But I got so much random shit that I was buying when I was a champion, like dumb diamond necklaces and all kind of fucking watches and shit. I just got too many kids, to be honest, and they became my flex. Right. Like my son getting a 4.0 student and getting awarded, some great awards and, being the Division I prospect. That's my flex. That's my bust down necklace. My daughter's an artist. My son's a elite soccer player at 10 years old. Now he's playing basketball and everybody's doing well in academics and shit like that. So I just feel like I ain't got time to be blowing all this money on shit, but he's young. You know what I mean? He's what, 25 years old now. Let him fucking do his thing. Like if I had fucking money when I was 25, I went crazy with it. You know what I mean? I think that's why God didn't let me do it. A kid from Ferguson growing up broke, you know what I mean? You get money, shit. I'm getting everything I didn't get when I was a kid. And I still kind of a little bit did that when I was in the UFC. I was making millions of dollars and shit. I was cashing out.
Wait, so for the record, what is it real? Is the watch real?
The watch was real. Yeah.
Oh, it was real? Okay.
No, it was real.
Crazy.
No, it was real.
So the next fight you say is boxing?
Next fight is boxing as of now. Is
it Dan Hardy? Is Dan Hardy the guy?
This dude be with this dude got the questions on him.
What? Come on.
Dan Hardy is a fucking... I don't even want to give Dan Hardy no clout. I want to say some bullshit about him, but I really don't give him a clout. He literally, who gives a fuck about a dyed up mohawk right now? Stop, dude. You fucking 90. Get the dyed mohawk out of here. You're not the outlaw no more. You ain't swung at a face in 10 years. So stop with the outlaw shit. I don't know who it is. They were talking to me about him, and it was some good money out there. There's been a lot of good money out there for a lot of different fights. So I'm going to look at it, but I was thinking about the boxing thing with Dan. I think it would be letting him off the hook. I kind of want to, if I fought him, it may be a little elbow, a little knee, little bitch slap. I need some hands open so I can do some of that.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. Potentially, we'll see.
I saw you in
I'm not going to give him my moment. I'm not going to give him my MMA hour.
Okay, my bad. Because I know there was some talk of that in maybe like March or so in the UK.
There was some talk from him because a lot of these dudes, and he's not the only one, a lot of these dudes are piggybacking off of me. What I did in MMA put me in a position where I can do certain things in film, music, and other fights in other organizations, right? I'm the only real free agent out here, to be honest. Who else can do whatever the fuck they want to do, when they want to do it, fight whoever they want to fight, no contract, nobody holding me down, and I'm making a lot of money. So people are going to hate me. They're going to hate on me. They're going to see my opportunities, but they haven't gotten the wisdom yet. My goals and what God has for me and the windows he opened, or you'll never be able to access it. And you can never close my window. So when people look at you and compare themselves, you're not supposed to compare yourself one to another. Don't look at what I got. Look at what you were supposed to get. Look at your vision. And I think when guys take their eyes off of their vision and what the fuck they supposed to do and start looking at another man, one, the suspect, two, it's kind of like you're taking your mind off of your goal. Don't look at what I did and don't want the payday I got. You know what I mean? You don't know what the fuck, like, ain't none of y'all been no 5-time world champions. None of them. So what are y'all talking about? Dan Hardy was trying to teach me how to be a champion forever. He never held a belt. You know what I mean? Other people was mad because they were in my division and they never held a belt. I did it when it was not cute. I did it when it was only number one contenders. I did it, you know what I mean, when it was the toughest division in the world. And I was calling to fight the best in his prime, and I never got that opportunity. So now that God works in mysterious ways, now this is my time, this is my moment. And a lot of people got a lot to say. And I just keep working.
How do you feel about this triad combat stuff? I saw you in the ring there a few months ago. You going to do that?
And that was some free advertisement, wasn't it?
I know. I was like, damn.
So I'm like, damn.
Everyone's taking. Well, you didn't see all the. You didn't see the thousands of people taking pictures of you there when you were in there?
Yeah, I did. Right. But I was in there trying to fill it out and feel like if I would like it and how does it feel. Was like it's very small. I like the way it felt, but to be honest, I got a lot of opportunities, a lot of different organizations. And this fight really didn't stop it. You know what I mean? You would think that it would, but when you think about, like, I hate to keep bringing up the same people, but some of our legendary fighters in MMA, they get to a point where they bring enough to the table where we'd be forgetting that these motherfuckers have not won in a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, think about it. Like, I'm not going to name people out because I respect a lot of these guys and these guys are OGs, but just really think about it. Motherfuckers have not took the W in a while, but they're still making millions of dollars and people still watching them. So, yeah, so triad, definitely, you know, I'm considering everything for sure. I just want to have a fun year, man. Like, to be honest, fighting Jake was fun to me. Like, training for Jake was fun to me. The press conference shit was fun to me. It was the best experience I've ever had in any fight. Really? I swear to you. It was the move, the Showtime shit, the promotion shit, the back and forth stuff. Feeling like I was getting paid what I was, you know, worth was fucking amazing. And then, you know what I mean, endorsement-wise, I went crazy. And I just put myself and my family in a different position. And though I didn't come out on top, I still learned so much and I still got so much to learn. And my coach is just really happy the fact that I wanted to get right back to training. Yesterday I was running in the cold and shit, ankle sore now. But just a mentality of not giving up. I think that's what made me me. You know, my road has never been squeaky clean. It's never been an easy route, but I never quit, man. My kids ain't never seen that out of me. Never seen me say, oh, okay, I got to give up because stuff ain't going my way. Like, things have went my way so much in my career and life and in wrestling and school and in college and in MMA. Like, you can't just walk away from, you know, what you feel God set out for you because you have a couple lessons. So I'm in it. I'm way in it. I'm getting better still. And yeah, I'm just out here training, man. Training, getting better. Getting ready for a TV show too.
What TV show?
I got a TV show coming up this year, yeah.
What do you got?
TV show.
Or you can't tell
I can't tell you the name of it, but yeah, it'll be the first for me. And this is what's going to actually take me off.
Okay. Well, can I ask you about people saying, I mean, this drives me nuts. I don't know if it drives you nuts when they're like, oh, that was rigged. Oh, he took a dive. And they're like, look at the arm. He moved his arm.
I took a motherfucking dive, but it wasn't on purpose. That motherfucker hit me with some shit. You know, I just feel like this. Like, be real, man. The people are resonate with real. Remember the time when Sean Shirk was being accused of steroids and he got popped with the drug test and, you know, he was saying somebody put it in the supplement, and we never forgave him. When Chael Sonnen positive time, he said, that's it? Yeah. That must have been a bad day. Like, he went into it, right? He went into it, and we never brought it up again. You know what I mean? People fuck with realness, and they fuck with, you know, being authentic. I'm not whatever. Like, I was watching the Ali movie with my son, and I was watching it, and it was not to compare myself to Ali, but I really did the thing the way I wanted to do it. And people didn't appreciate it. They never appreciated him at that time. But I was a champion. I remember him saying this, I'm not going to be the champion the way you wanted me. I'm not going to be the champion that Usman wanted me to be. I'm not going to be the champion that Hardy wanted me to be, Dana White wanted me to be. I was who I wanted to be. And I did it. And I beat guys when they thought I was going to lose. And I was on top no matter what people threw at me. And, it's a tough sport, man. It's only so long you can ride at that top, that top spot in the top seat for so long. But I did it my way. And I told my son, I said, they hated Muhammad Ali when he was fighting. They didn't love him like he had on the Roots of Fight shirt. I said, they didn't love him like the shirt you wearing right now. That's after the fact. That's after he stood up for what he believed in. That's after he sat out in the prime of his career because of his thoughts. It's after, he was talking and people didn't like African-American fighter talking shit. But he said it and he did it and he created a lot for us. And I told him, I said, I'm forever itching history. I said, this dude you just watched him fight, it was Joe Frazier. I'm like, oh shit, that's James Toney. I was just training with James Toney. I said, Dylan, when you go to Madison Square Garden, you're going to see a picture of your dad up there. And I walked through there and I saw pictures of that. And it's the biggest gate, right? Still to this day, that they have ever had. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jay-Z, Muhammad Ali. UFC 205 was the biggest deal. And me and Wonder Boy had the best fight of the biggest card ever. You can never take that moment from me. And they walked me through the MSG. They knew how much Muhammad Ali meant to me. And I walked and I looked to the left and it was a poster when he fought Joe Frazier there. And I stopped there and I looked at it and I said, I died in this motherfucker before he beat me. I'm never losing it here. Muhammad Ali fought Frazier in this motherfucker? No, it's going down. And that's why the fight was the way it was. We just really both didn't want to lose. He didn't want to lose. He could have easily gave up in that first round. A lot of people would have got stopped. You know what I mean? He's bleeding, ground and pound like fucking ground beef. And he literally kept fighting. I kept fighting. And that's who I am. And I'm not gonna let the lesson stop me from realizing that. And that's just what my family's been saying. That's what my coach has been saying. And that's kind of what I feel like he's been getting across to me over the last couple of weeks.
And, I think you're one of the best analysts in this game in terms of MMA analysis.
I appreciate that.
And I've said it to you, and it was great. The one time we got to work together, I think it was in Edmonton. It was awesome. Are you going to keep doing that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got something coming up. I don't even know if I can talk about it. I've been off the internet. I just post shit and just walk away.
Smart.
So I haven't really looked, but I think someone has been posting about some new gigs I'm working on here recently. So I got something coming up. It'll be a cool all-star cast of kind of commentator, judge kind of style deal. And it'll give me a chance to just kind of hang loose. Sometimes you got to be filtered. You remember me at Fox. Fox is a certain filter. And then ESPN was a certain filter. And then TMZ was really no filter. And then my podcast, I can say whatever the fuck I want. I think this is going to be an opportunity for me to kind of blend all of them together. Minus the swearing.
Are you? Can I ask if you're referring to the PFL thing?
Is that what they said?
Peter Murray, who's the CEO of the company, said that you're going to be a part of it. I think it's you.
Oh, well, what's up, Peter?
Yeah, come on, man. This guy breaking the news. The Challenger thing, right?
No, I didn't see that for real. So Peter Murray said something?
Yeah, he said it.
Well, if he said something, shit, we up then, yeah.
Okay, so you're doing that. So does that mean no more UFC stuff?
No, that don't mean that. I keep doors open. I talked to Candido. I talked to him about it. I asked him what he think I should do. As far as I have a contract with the UFC and making sure that it was okay that I do both, because I feel like I'm in a position right now where I ain't trying to be held down. You know what I mean? I just want to be able to call whatever the fuck I want to call. I really want my own show where we're not just talking about sports and we actually educate these motherfuckers on what you're watching and breaking it down in bite sizes where they can understand it. That's why people resonate with me as an analyst, because I may say some bullshit that's funny, but it's a word picture, so you'll never forget it. So that way you can, when you look about MMA, it's like teaching kids, you know what I mean? Pour the can of soda off, talk on the phone, you know what I mean? When you do that type of stuff, it resonates. And you got to kind of do it with adults that never watch MMA. It's too quick. It's too many fights per month. It's too many people you need to know. It's too many moves. You got to break it down bite size. Why is it important that this person wins this fight? What is at stake here? What camp do they train at? How did they do against people previously before them? Those are the important things you got to check off for a viewer. Now that person can actually watch this fight. That's all we guiding them. We're trying to keep them as fans, guide them, and make them more invested. Oh, this kid grew up in a rough beginning. You know what I mean? He came from nothing. He did this. Or this person right here, his father was a martial artist, and he's been trained this way since he was a pupil. Or he trains at AKA. They fucking each other up in the gym. So if you actually make it to the fight, you're going to 80 to 90% win, because every day in the gym is a fight. Or, you know what I mean? Alpha males, the same thing. They spar like crazy. Same thing with Winklejohn. You know those three camps that these guys are going to be tough and they're going to be in shape. One guy may be, if he's from Winklejohn, he may have a better strategy. This person may have better wrestling. So I know those things from just knowing people and training so many camps. I got to share that knowledge with the fans. Now they understand why Khabib and Nurmagomedov was so dominant. Well, look at the way they train. You know what I mean? I've been there. I know the way they train. You know what I mean? And fans don't get that enough. Sometimes analysts mistake themselves for being the host. The host is the one with the stats. And so many significant strikes in the clinch. And when he's right leg lead, let them do that. Let them alley-hoop us. And we got to slam it in with personal stories. I know because I followed him. I've been in their camp. If he doesn't do this, then this. Now, I think everybody on the desk thinking I was the only motherfucker knowing. And that's what separated me from everybody else. And I do feel like I'm going to be the best. I thought I was the best in the UFC. I know, no to my own horn, but I thought outside of Brian Stann was amazing. I was the biggest fan of him. He was the best analyst the UFC has ever had on the desk as an analyst. I feel like when he left, I talked to him, I communicated with him, I kind of got some notes from him, and I feel like at that point I was the best.
Man, Brian Stann, what a legend. We don't talk about him enough.
And Dominic Cruz is good too, but I like him better as either color or the play-by-play as a commentator, because he does that too. He breaks it down smart, like he's smart, but he don't be too smart where you can't pick it up.
Can I ask, who do you want to see Jake Paul fight next? If it was up to you.
To be honest, you know what I mean? It's not up to me who I want to see him fight, but
if it was up to you.
If it was up to me, I don't know. Shit. I don't know. I be thinking about myself these days. I don't be trying to alley hoop.
Okay.
Unless it was my dog.
Well, I see him I see him, showing you love on your Instagram and.
Yeah, I've been talking to him. We talk.
Oh, you guys
talk every day.
Yeah, you guys like.
Well, we're gonna do some business. We was already business partners.
Yeah.
He didn't pay me to let him fucking knock me out. Never took that amount of money, no amount of money to say, hey, let me knock you the fuck out, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, we didn't plan who won and lost, but when we promote a fight in press conference and come up and build a big show, and it was a huge show. It was the biggest talk of 2021. You know what I mean? Why was he the boxer of the year? Because of what I did in the sport. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal that he beat some chump. If he would have beat some lump on a fucking log twice, nobody would have gave a fuck. But they give the credit to another person of being the biggest knockout, the biggest whatever, because of who he did it against. But they do that without giving the person credit for what they did, who I was in combat sports. So we're going to do some business. We've been talking, it's a couple things that we were talking about. It didn't kind of really work out for me. And time-wise, I'm doing like recruiting with my son. Like he's getting ready to play D1 football. And I've been traveling. So those recruiting trips are a little bit more important in some of the things that we were talking about doing. But I think we're going to hit a home run down the road. He want to do some TV show. I think it'll be funny.
Oh, wow. Can I ask, who wins, him or Tommy Fury, in your opinion?
I always thought Jake was going to win that fight.
Okay. What about him or Anderson Silva?
That's tough. That's a tough one. I mean, I always thought Anderson was super crafty. He had a great way of using economy of motion. He never really exerted more than he needed to, but when he did, he exploded. He knocked out Forrest with a fucking jab. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very, very efficient. So I think Jake is not so much about efficiency. He's about blocking and brawling. He has some clean techniques. Anybody that can get hit with that punch can get knocked out. I don't know. That's a coin toss.
How far do you think he goes with this?
I mean, what does he got to lose? He's always in a win-win situation.
Yeah.
He does a great job of keep saying I'm this Disney kid, and this is why I was at 5 years ago, because if he would have lost to me, you think I would have got fighter of the year? No, they would have been thanking me like, oh, finally. People want to see him silenced, but sometimes that drives people. You know what I mean? When people want to tell them they can't do something so many times, it kind of fucking light a flame under their throat, and they want to constantly prove people wrong. He don't have nothing to lose. What does he have to lose? Nothing. So, I mean, that's dangerous. You know what I mean? I always feared the fighters that didn't have nothing to lose. Everybody want to fight you. Of course they want to fight me. People have been wanting to fight me forever. Like, take a fucking number. Like, think about it. I was the one that wanted to fight Carlos and everybody else, so I get it. But he's a person that everybody expects him to lose. And even after these 2 fights with me, he still got a lot of naysayers.
Yeah.
They think that, oh, okay, it wasn't a boxer. Let it be a real boxer. And if he beat up Tommy Fury, oh, he was a boxer, but he wasn't a good boxer. Fight one of these world champion boxers or Canelo or somebody that punches harder. You know what I mean? If you fight Canelo or Mike Tyson, like, if you lose to Canelo or Mike Tyson, what, we going to stop watching Jake Paul now? No. We're going to keep watching him because he had the balls to go and do it. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you before I let you go, what's up with this dude, Hector Lombard, man? Why is this guy sweating you so much? This guy, what's happening? This guy every time.
Chasing clout.
Man, what's the beef there? Why is he, like,
There's no beef.
There's no beef, nothing? It seems very personal.
It's personal because envy is personal. Jealousy and envy has been malicious since Cain and Abel. Killed his own brother over envy and jealousy. He has a malicious jealousy to me. He's always had it. He's always a little bit ranked a little bit lower than me in the UFC. He was always a little bit lower on the totem pole at ATT. He always wanted the manager that I had. He always wanted the sponsors that I had. He always wanted the fame that I had. And like I said before, when people start looking at someone else's path and journey and started to envy over that, I never envied over anything he did. I always congratulated him. And he's trying to fabricate some beef from 15, 14? We in 2022, like, get out of here. He just wants what I have. But sometimes people need to watch what they ask for.
Oh, that's a tease right
when
there.
They build like a fucking reptile.
Damn. So does that mean that could be one of the guys?
I want him to starve. I don't want him to ever be able to make $1 million off of me.
Okay.
There's other people that I really respect. I had somebody hit me up. I won't share their name because I might do it. I had a fighter that's a well-known fighter that he put a poll like, who y'all want to see me fight? And then he put my name in there. Then I DM'd him. And I was like, yeah, people always want to see me fight somebody. They need to take a number. And he's like, no, I just wanted because I think it'll be a massive fight, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, you wanted this fight. I'm
Boxer
like,
or MMA?
MMA.
Ooh, interesting. I didn't see
but the fact that he's a legend and the fact that he came at it the right way, I might be interested.
MMA legend who can fight you? Now you got me, bro. You don't want to tell us, huh? I mean, it's out there.
I already fought him, too.
You already fought him. He's
not in the UFC right now, but he's a knockout artist.
Oh, I know. Oh, this would be a story. This would be a
Don't say it, though.
This would be a story.
I think you got it, though. But yeah, stuff like that.
That would be a story right there.
Way more dangerous fight. It was a way more dangerous fight, way more craftier, way more relevant in that particular lane. I'm like, somebody like that, somebody like a Diaz, somebody like, you know what I mean? Somebody I really, really, really fucking like admire, a fan of, and respect. I would love to make money because I feel like we didn't make money the right way when we was in our respective lanes. So now I really want to make money with people I respect. You know what I mean?
Respect. Okay, so in conclusion, very busy 2022. We ain't going out like that. You know, as they once said, we ain't going out like that. You got movies, you got TV shows, you've got at least 2 to 3 fights, MMA and boxing. Yeah. When do you think we see you fight again?
I was supposed to fight in March, so
okay, that's still a possibility.
March is a possibility because I'm already training, but I don't know yet. I want to make sure. I just got my passport.
What?
The other day, so I just got my passport the other day.
You're just teasing us left and right.
I don't need to be vaccinated and all that other stuff if I slide out.
Okay, all right. Why you need your passport?
Listen, I mean, I'm going. Hey, I just got my passport. You about to see me traveling.
Okay.
I need a break, area. I'm about to go on a trip.
Good.
You know what I mean? There's some asses that need to be beat, pause. across the water too. You know what I mean? We can't just leave it on the U.S. soil. There's some other people that's bumping gums around the world. So
respect, man. The comedic
everybody
timing.
think I'm sweet right now. And I like it. They think it's sweet, and I like it. And so that's just gonna get some people's ass whooped.
All right, okay. So we'll leave it at that for now. Keep us posted on everything. Anything else you want to get off your chest before we go, or do you think we've?
Oh man, I appreciate the fans. I appreciate the haters. I really just want people. I do, because they make me understand it. Like, think about this. I always think that the blessing is way bigger than the distraction, right? So if the distraction is large, that means my blessing is tenfold, right? So now I'm really thinking about it. If I'm focusing on this, and if the distractions are so many different directions that they're coming in from, that means that if I focus on that, I'm taking my focus and my eyes off of something that's way greater. So if I got a lot of haters, I got a lot of people that could have did it differently. Meanwhile, they go 9 to 5, and then on the weekends they live through us and they tell us what to do. Why would I allow that? Why would I allow that to bother me?
It's like the great scholar Paris Hilton once said, "Haters make me famous." You know what I mean? So the more haters, the more famous.
I'm real famous right now.
You're handling it well, man. And I mean, I know there are some who just go away for 6 months. There's no real way, but like I remember going back to my hotel room that Saturday, literally 20 minutes after being in the ring with you guys, and you were on IG Live. I was like, shit, you know.
Yeah, I just need people to know I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
I'm not that dude. I'm not going to quit because it's easy for you. That's maybe a t-shirt.
Well done. All right. That's another thing, another revenue stream. Thank you so much, Tyron. Respect to you. Can't wait to see what you do this year. And as always, thank you for coming on the show. And in this, I mean, this internet connection was fantastic. We do all the interviews from here. This was fantastic, man.
I'm just saying, you know, new phone for the show.
Look at you.
You know, I got my internet boosted.
Oh my God.
Changed my plan.
Man.
All for the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Be blessed.
All right. You too. Take care. There he is, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley. That was impeccable. Internet. Can I just say we changed the lighting a little? I had the worst migraine on Monday, and it might. I've been having some bad ones. I think I talked about it. I feel so much better. Whatever everyone did back there, Joe, Alex. I don't think Frank did much, but Connor I think did a little bit. He weighed in. Of course, Tucker. I feel so. I know you guys were wondering how I was feeling. Everyone was very concerned. I feel great. Just to let you guys know.
It's a big load off our minds.
Yeah, I know you guys were wondering. Everyone was really wondering. So I feel great. I feel great. Shout out to Tyron Woodley. What a mensch. Also, another update for you guys. The piece of porridge is still stuck in the back. I've been working at it. I've been trying to work at it. It's not going away. Water. Nothing. Muted me. Nothing. I know people like to talk about the best rappers in fighting. Oh, wow, that was weird. And, of course, Bryce Mitchell has emerged. Brian Kelleher shouted him out and said he wanted a rap battle, and I reached out, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if I can explain why. It just seemed like, well, I guess I should explain why, because he's down. He's down to do it. A Thug Nasty Boom rap battle, but... you know, he takes a lot of pride. Like, he's taking this rap game really serious. Seriously? Serious? Anyway, and he's taking a lot of pride in it, and I guess he feel, and I get it. It's not an interview, so this is a product, right? Something that he would have to work on. And I guess he just doesn't want to give it away for free, and I can understand that. I mean, there's people making a lot of money off those things these days, verses and all that, so... Maybe we could get a sponsor. Anyone want to sponsor a rap battle between Brian Kelleher and Thug Nasty? Maybe DraftKings could get on board with that. Connor, maybe if you can call your people over at DraftKings, maybe we can get that popping, as they say. At 4 o'clock, guys, I want to let you know that Jorge Masvidal is going to be joining us. Water, it screws you up. Jorge Masvidal is going to be joining us at 4 o'clock to talk about the highly anticipated fight against Colby Covington on March 5th. We'll also answer your questions at around 3 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. But I want to know who GC is picking Saturday night. Francis Ngannou. Le Prédateur, going up against Bon Gamin, Ciryl Gane. Davison Doistegera Figueiredo. I mean, who pronounces names like this? No one in the business. Brendan Moreno. Who's he picking? We shall find out in just a matter of seconds. But first, wow. God and our majesty, God save the Queen. This is one of my favorite national anthems. Then notorious, da notorious, God notorious. God save the Queen. Wow. Wow. Where did that come from? Wait,
Well, you were supposed to read the ad.
Wait, do it again. I want to get it right. God save our gracious Queen. Long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. Yeah. Was that because of the London announcement today?
It wasn't.
Wow.
But
Like, where did that come from? Did you know I love that national anthem?
no, I'm regretting putting
Wow.
it in there. Yeah.
Well, just this morning, they officially announced that March 19th, they're going to London. London calling. So I thought that you were kind of incredible timing. You just thought, let's have God Save the Queen
I
as
was
our...
just feeling it.
Wow.
Apparently you were feeling it more.
Let me tell you, one of my favorites, very short for a national anthem, right? I mean, that's like 45 seconds long.
Not even.
But when they belt that out at the soccer matches, the football matches, tremendous. Okay, we're going to do it again now for the actual ad.
We're going to do this.
Okay, not quite the same, but it does give us a little more leeway, I would presume. So on Monday, they told me I was taking too long with the ad reads. I was weighing in with too much Bills talk and all this stuff, so I have to keep it very clean. So we're going to start the ad. Do you want to start the music again, or...
You feeling all right, man? Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. There's no way you're going to use this now. Let me just gather myself. It's time for UFC 270 and the heavyweight title fight between the undefeated Ciryl Gane and knockout artist Francis Ngannou, Le Prédateur. For these guys, it could only take one punch to win. Same goes for you at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. New customers can bet just $1 and win $100 in free bets if either fighter lands a punch. I'm screwed. Rather bet this weekend's football games instead? Yes. Last I heard, Bills plus 1.5, moving in the direction of Los Bills de Buffalo. DraftKings also has a special offer for those looking to get in on the gridiron action. New customers can get 56 to 1 odds. That's 56 to 1 odds on any playoff team. Bet just $5 and get 280 in free bets if your team wins. Now, all you have to do is this. This is our quote-unquote call to action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DMMA or throw down just $1 on the 270 main event and win 100 in free bets. If Gane or Ngannou land a punch, that's it. That's code DMMAR this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, the MAR, and the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or PA only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit required. $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/details for sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Definitely gonna have to read that again. Watch that. G City in the house. I'm liking this G City. G City, T City, my guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian Ortega.
Brian Ortega, yeah, one of the good guys in the game.
One of the best.
Now, I mean, the big news, of course, the 1.5. That's big. We've gone from
big,
2.5 to 1.
You told me minus 1.5.
Yeah, I
was
screwed
like,
that up.
Wow.
I still don't really know. Yeah.
Shift. I mean, Bills to be favored in Kansas City would be nuts.
I mean, we're moving in that direction.
How mad would you be if I
bet on the Chiefs?
If I told you I had a future since the last Super Bowl ended
on the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know each other. It would have felt like a betrayal had you just done it. But I gotta give you a pass because we didn't know each other. You were still working overnights at game night,
Yeah. Well, I think we had worked together.
I mean, it was more like, hey, you want to come on the show? And I'm like, I really don't want to.
Never.
Yes.
I'm busy.
I'd rather not. Yes. Oh, do you got the, what's that thing that they do? There's like that box at your house.
Yeah, the Comrex.
The Comrex fired it up.
Dialing up?
Yeah, oh,
Ram
God.
224.
Oh, God. Drive me insane.
You still working on the porridge here?
Yeah, I'm still working on it, as you can see right here.
So what is it? It's just soup? What kind of soup was it?
You don't know what porridge is? They don't have that down south? Porridge. It's like oatmeal.
I think chili.
Not chili at all. What are you talking about?
Is chili considered a porridge?
No. It's like oatmeal. Yeah, porridge.
Goldilocks. That's what I think of. Oh, it's oatmeal. Yeah, I saw you dumping fruit into it.
Yes. Well, you thought it was a soup?
I thought it was maybe like the butternut squash soup you had from the
By the way, it's great. That's my favorite. If people want to know, I was doing a lot of the poke. We had a little bit of a mishap with the poke. And I was like, you know what? I need to start keeping it simple. So
I didn't think you were going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. And then I've gone porridge. And if they have the butternut squash soup, I like the butternut squash.
Yeah.
My favorite is matzo ball soup. Can we tell everyone what happened last week? You went to Katz's Deli. I think on my recommendation. No?
Everybody's right. It's New York City.
We just talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you type in best restaurants in New York, Katz always comes up.
Yeah.
You have mentioned it to me before, though.
And you didn't get the soup.
I didn't get the soup, man.
It's crazy.
I got the sandwich. The sandwich was like
pastrami. Yeah, who cares?
I want pastrami.
This is fine dining.
Okay,
5-star Michelin.
I'm on a producer's budget over here.
Come on, producer's budget flying over. You listen. Cancel that trip to Indianapolis. Get the matzo ball soup next time. All right.
Yeah.
I can't believe
hit me
it.
up. Told me like Second Ave Deli. The
Second Avenue Deli.
Soup.
Yeah.
It's
tremendous.
It's better than Katz.
Katz is, by the way.
Katz is. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Great atmosphere in there.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. My good friend Renee Paquette was tweeting about matzo ball soup earlier today. Now I just keep thinking about it all show long. I'm thinking about the soup. I'm thinking about the porridge stuck in my throat. All kinds of things going on in my head. There's nothing. I have a rule. I go to a restaurant, even if I'm not in the mood, if there's matzo ball soup on it, I have to order it.
Really?
You want to know something crazy? When I was in Florida for the little break, we went to a place like a deli. My son loves matzo ball soup as well, ordered it. I did as well, because that's my rule. They came back and they said, we want to let you know, today's actually our last day. We're closing tomorrow. Tonight's our last night. These are our last meals. Your son just got the last matzo ball soup that we'll ever serve. So my little son got the soup. I didn't get the soup. And I was just staring at him and wondering if he recognized just how lucky he was and how jealous I was of him in the moment.
You'll get it in Florida. Like, I know it was December, but like
1,000%.
Dead middle of the summer, you would eat a big bowl of matzo ball.
It is probably like my like matzo ball. Obviously, I love pizza. I love Italian, but like matzo ball soup to me is. It doesn't matter if it's breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner. Of course, dinner is probably the best. Lunch is good too. Tremendous, just absolutely.
What is the ball? Like, what is the ball?
Yeah, that's a good question. What is the ball? It's just the broth is chicken. For sure, it's chicken.
Is it salty? Like,
salty. Yes,
savory?
It's basically chicken noodle soup, but you've got this thing there, and it's like soft, and not too soft. If it's too soft, it's no good. There has to be some firmness to it, and it's to die for.
It doesn't
what?
When you get in the middle of it, it still looks appetizing and everything.
Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? It's just a ball. It's just like a white ball. It almost looks like a sponge, but it's just it's very salty. Trust me, just have it.
All right, yeah.
I would not steer you wrong.
I'm gonna cross it off the list.
Did you get the pecan pie?
Nah.
You didn't.
You
did it all wrong.
Per diem was.
You did it all wrong.
Pastrami sandwich.
All right.
I flew solo. I was thrown off by the way you order and everything. It was.
Yeah. It's a whole.
It's production. A lot. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Okay, first pay-per-view of 2022. I mean, I can't wait for this. I think a lot of people are wondering. A lot of people are hinging their bets on your bets. They want to know.
I hope they're not, man. I hope they're not. I mean, this is a difficult card to call. I feel like you can make it. You know, you're talking about just the main event and the co-main event, being able to make an argument for each fighter. I feel like you could almost do that in every single fight on the card.
Let's go.
All right. I got 4 singles.
Okay.
And a parlay. I'm probably gonna add more later in the week, but I gotta get there on those bets. I'm not there yet, but I do have 4 underdogs and a parlay for you. We'll start with the first one. I'm going to go with Trevin Giles over Michael Morales. Michael Morales, pretty impressive on Dana White's Contender Series. Dana White loves this guy. He said he's got huge potential, you know, future great in the sport. Might be a little early on saying all that. I mean, he does look talented. He's fighting out of interim with Brandon Moreno. He's going to have the height advantage here. I mean, he looked skilled. The biggest thing, though, he's just still so young. He's only 22 years old. I mean, like, looking it up, he was born in 1999. That's just, like, so crazy to see. This is going to be a big step up in competition and experience. Giles, I mean, he's fought some killers. Last time out, yep, he gets knocked out by, tough name here, Dricus du Plessis.
Yes, Dracus.
Yeah. I mean, the dude's an animal, so you can't really blame him. Before that, though, I mean, he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Roman Dolidze, Bevan Lewis, James Krause. Not an easy, you know, not the easiest 3 to get by. So I just think that experience, I think it's going to be a big step up for Michael Morales here. And getting him at dog odds, I mean, yeah, I am concerned about him moving to welterweight. First time ever he's going to be doing that. Fight IQ, sometimes he does put himself in bad situations. I'm hoping he doesn't do that here. But at the dog odds, man, I mean, he's facing a debutant, 22 years old. Last year, 88 fighters made their UFC debut in 2021, and they went 31-57.
Wow.
In those debuts. I think Michael Morales, he's gonna have a good UFC career. I think he really is gonna be able to put some stuff together, but I just think he's so young here, and the experience of Trevin Giles, I think he's gonna be able to get this one done. So I'm willing to take a dog shot on him at short plus 125 odds.
Okay. That's quite the breakdown there.
Yeah, Trevin Giles, I'm surprised I'm betting on him. The next one, I am also a little bit surprised I'm betting on him, but I got around to this one. I'm going to go with Wellington Turman.
Okay, another dog.
Another dog. I said 4 dogs at plus 225. Yeah, I'm just going to take the dog shot on him. I really can't believe I'm saying that. But in a 22-fight pro career, he's never been subbed. BJJ black belt. Not saying a ton, but in 4 UFC fights, he's never been taken down. Not a ton of attempts on him, but he still hasn't been taken down. He's been training with Glover at his gym as well. You have to think that there's some improvements going on working with Glover Teixeira right now. And he should have the advantage on the feet if it stays standing, if he can avoid the takedowns, if he can avoid the submissions from Rodolfo Vieira. Also, Rodolfo, I mean, first of all, he's not a huge striker. I mean, he's got a pretty good jab, but not the best striker in the world. The gas tank has to concern you. I've seen a lot of people. There are quite a few people. I mean, I got it plus 225. That line is moving down. There are people that are on Wellington Turman here. And I've seen people like, how could you ever trust Wellington Turman? I mean, on the flip side, how could you really trust Rodolfo Vieira? I mean, he lost as a minus 500 favorite to Fluffy and get submitted. His, expertise, that's how he loses, as a minus 500 favorite. So, I don't really know you could trust him. In a fight that could go either way, anything could happen in this one. There are avenues for victory for Wellington Turman. I'm willing to play the plus 225 on him. Throw a half unit. I'm throwing a half unit on all the dogs.
Okay.
And then these next two.
Uh-oh.
It's the co-main.
Uh-oh.
And
there
the main
it is.
event.
Wait, could we get a music? Could we get a little jingle, a little something?
Not right now.
I guess not.
Not right now. Jeez.
I mean, we have what is that?
Reformatting my computer back there?
The national anthem.
The anthem.
Yeah, we have the anthem. And
okay, this is big. I'm going to do it.
Anything. Well, I mean, I feel like I already kind of gave it away. I said I'm taking 4 dogs.
Yeah, but if someone's not, I don't know who's dog in that fight. Is it Figueiredo? Is it Moreno? Who the hell knows?
Well, it's like you keep saying. I feel like these are pick'em fights. In the co-main, I will be going with Davis and Figueiredo at plus 155.
Wow.
Now, I will say just from the jump in this, if he looks terrible from the weight cut, like if he just looks
Friday's going to be big,
on the scales, I will cash out. I have a cash out option.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the books. The books offer cash out options.
Oh, wow.
Like if it is enough to scare me away.
Feels like you're hedging.
Well, it wouldn't be hedging. It would literally just be getting my money.
Yeah, I know, but
if he looks terrible.
Yeah, I know. He's good.
That did not look like Davis and Figueiredo last time out. Like he looked like
he's had submission. What is Moreno, by the way?
Moreno, at DraftKings right now, I think he's minus 180.
Okay.
which you feel like the way that he dominated so much last time out gets the finish, and now it's the same matchup. You would think he would be a bigger favorite than -180.
Well, remember my stat that I love so much, right?
I know. I thought about that.
That's
it does
another
kind of
one.
make me. It does kind of make me
Going
nervous.
against it. Now it doesn't often. I don't know if it works for trilogy. I mean, it's very rare, if ever. I have to rack my brain. There's definitely one or two. I mean, DC and Stipe. DC and Stipe, right? Stipe lost the belt. Oh, actually, no. But DC fought Derek Lewis in between the second and third.
Yeah.
So I don't. There's someone's going to tell me right now, top of my head. Someone has definitely fought 3 times in a row. No, not Shamrock and Ortiz. Anyway, how many times has it happened? 3 consecutive fights, right?
Yeah.
And then in this case where it's like lost the belt. Well, actually, in this one is super weird because it was draw, lost the belt, and now we'll see here.
Right, the draw with the point deduction and everything, and now we're getting this. I mean, Figueiredo, like you have to think the back is against the wall. Like this, it's like now or never. I mean, you're 34 years old. You've lost the belt. If he doesn't get it back here, you know, you're going to have to give other people chances. You don't know when or if he's ever going to get another shot at the belt. Changes gyms. He goes to Arizona. He's training with Cejudo. I mean, he looks great from the Instagram pictures. That doesn't necessarily, you know.
Does look great.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great. If he has a successful cut, like he looks pretty good on the scales. He looks like he's going to be able to, you know, go out there and be the Davison Figueiredo that is 22-1 in his career. 2 losses, 1 draw. I know it kind of sounded like I said 22-1 there, but you have to think he's going to look better than he did in the second fight, and it might look closer to the first fight. Plus 155, I'm willing to take the dog shot on it.
Listen, there's no right answer here.
I'm with you on that. If you tell me you're taking Brandon Moreno, I really don't have an argument against you. If you tell me you're taking Ciryl Gane, if you tell me you're taking Francis Ngannou, I don't really have an argument against you. I really think these are all coin flip fights. I think they are pick'em fights, and with that, I'll take the dog shot in them just because it's the better odds. I mean, I think they're going to be fantastic fights. I really do think they're going to be incredible.
So my guy Alex Weber here, he always pops up. Here's my research on trilogies. No info on if they fought consecutively, but likely you know that piece. So actually, yeah, this is the shortest amount of time, according to Alex. I don't know how the hell he came up with these numbers. Shortest amount of time between, you know, the first fight and the third fight, 406 days. Number 2 and number 1 for all these years, 518 days between Tim Sylvia versus Andrei Arlovski 1, and number 3, and Cain Velasquez Jr. Dos Santos. That was the one I was thinking. The most recent one was 707. Now, DC and Stipe did fight 3 times in a row for Stipe, but not for DC. There's Liddell Couture, GSP Hughes. But yeah, 406 days, just a little over a year. Their first fight was back in December of 2020. I can't wait. I
can't wait. It's going to be incredible. I hope that, I mean, perfect case scenario, it goes 5 rounds and it's just like an absolute war. I mean, I hope we get something much closer to the first fight than we did as opposed to the second one. And I think we're going to. Davison Figueiredo is like, he is a world-class fighter. Like, you have to think it's going to look a little bit different. Main event.
Wow. So this means, I mean, just based on what you said, this means you're going with the champ.
Yeah, I had to get there. I had to work through it mentally. But
Did you change your mind?
Oh my gosh, dude. I've went back.
No, but like in the last 2 hours, I feel like the way you were talking before the show was you were leaning towards Ciryl.
Oh, no.
You threw me a curveball.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if you go online, if you're looking at Twitter, if you're looking at, you know, like cappers or whatever.
Yeah, people love Ciryl in this fight, right?
They love Ciryl. I mean,
with good reason.
Oh, of course, dude. He's incredible. I mean, he's elusive. He's so well-rounded. I mean, like, if you tell me you're taking Ciryl Gane, I'm just, there's a very good chance you're going to win money taking him. But I will take Francis Ngannou. I will back the champ at dog odds. I'm going to go with it. I mean,
no respect.
16 wins, all by finish. 8 first-round knockouts in the UFC. He's never been finished before. It's that it just takes one mentality, the puncher's chance. I mean, it might not work out for me. I'm not throwing a ton on it. I'm not throwing a ton on any of these dogs because I do think this is such a tough card to pick fights on. But I'm going to have a little investment on Francis Ngannou come Saturday evening. And something that this might be completely irrelevant, but I started thinking about it when you brought up the main event, like always holding. I started thinking about how many dogs have won recently in main events. If you go back, all the way back to October 9th, the Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez, if you start there and come all the way to where we are now, 8 of the last 11, the dogs have won.
Wow.
And 4 straight the dogs have won. Max Holloway, Usman, and Marvin Vettori, the only favorites to win in that time span.
Wow. By the way,
So
you
that's
just
kinda interesting.
yeah, very interesting. You reminded me of something we were talking about. Main events that have fallen through due to COVID. One of the first was Gilbert Burns and Usman. The reason why it didn't come to mind for me was because the replacement ended up being infinitely bigger, so it didn't feel like we lost out in terms of fights. And thank you to I think it was El Cubano, maybe it was even Alex on Twitter that reminded me of this. Alex Weber, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades. Thanksgiving, not this past Thanksgiving, 2 Thanksgivings ago. Yeah, that fell through, and then they bumped up Anthony Smith. But what was interesting, like to me, so it still stands that no pay-per-view has had their main event fall through, and obviously,
Right, like you like completely lose the fight.
Yeah. Because I mean, going from Usman to Burns, with all due respect, and then going to Usman Masvidal was obviously a much bigger deal, and it did tremendous on pay-per-view. So. I'd also be curious to know, and I'm sure there's a way of figuring this out, like, what's the record of the champion who's the underdog in these fights?
Right, I thought about that when Sergio Pettis fought Horiguchi. I wanted to look that up, but I couldn't find any.
He was underdog?
Yeah, he was an underdog in that one. I couldn't find any like valid stats.
Yeah.
And, I started thinking more about it, and it's like, Sergio Pettis. I mean, we could see something similar here. You really never know. Ciryl Gane could just be dominating like Horiguchi was, and then it just takes the one. So
it is crazy to me that as good as Francis has looked, that he's the underdog. I mean, again, much respect to Ciryl. The fact that they know each other probably helps. The fact that there's a lot going on in Francis's life right now probably helps. Obviously, Ciryl much younger, hasn't been in the game that 3.5 years. But like, man, Francis has he has so many. Standing, he has so many tools, and he's getting a lot better in terms of his wrestling is concerned. The cardio to me is the big concern. Like if you tell me right now you've seen this fight, I'm not going to tell you who wins, but I've seen the fight and it's a finish, I'm telling you Francis won the fight. But if you tell me right now I've seen the fight and it's going 25, I'm going with Ciryl. Now, that's not to say Ciryl can't finish Francis because he can. Look what he did. But I'm just saying who has the better chance of winning given those two scenarios, I'll pick those guys. But again,
I mean, it's hard to argue against that. Francis has never been finished. Obviously, Ciryl hasn't either. He's never even lost. But like, Francis's path to victory is to end the fight.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be fascinating, dude. You teased me. You said
what
you might have a pick.
maybe later. Maybe later.
Wow,
Maybe later.
tease everyone. We'll get it after.
You got to
the
pay a
fight.
premium for that. That's going to be on my Patreon. Just kidding. I don't have a Patreon.
Then what goes on the Substack? 'Cause I'm already paying for the Substack. I asked to get that for free. You told me I had to pay for it.
No freebies. All going to charity, by the way, so I don't make anything off it. Any parlays?
Sure. I do have one parlay.
Okay.
3 legs.
All right.
We'll kick it off. Jack Della Maddalena.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Pete Rodriguez. I'm going to take this one. Fight does not go the distance. I mean, this is just 2 heavy-handed boxers. Della Maddalena, he's just the much more crisp of the 2, in my opinion. Just tighter, more refined, mixes in the kicks well. Nice counter punching. Pete Rodriguez. I mean, he is just aggression from the jump. If he takes you down, he's going to be active. He's going to be looking for the ground and pound. And I think aggression is what rules the day here. At some point, I think these 2 are going to start brawling. And at some point, I think someone is going to get dropped. I went back and I watched all of Pete Rodriguez's professional fights. It took me about 5 minutes because he has a combined cage time in 4 fights of 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Albeit it's not against the best competition on the regional scene. But he does have KO potential. I mean, he puts people out. And if you combine pro and amateur, 10 of his 12 fights have ended in round 1. Other one ended early in round 2, but those were 3-minute rounds. And then he did have 1 decision, but those were also 3-minute rounds. Della Maddalena, 12 pro fights, 11 ended by finish, only 1 even making it to the 3rd round. I just think at some point it's going to go into a flurry of punches. It's going to turn into a boxing brawl, and someone is going to get dropped. So I don't think it goes the distance here.
All right.
Next up, Ilia Topuria, our guy that we just had on here earlier.
Lovely fellow.
Lovely fellow, man. He was, I wasn't expecting that much. I don't know. He's just very charismatic in the interview.
Well, it's sometimes, on the shoulders of the interviewer to get that out,
Yeah.
Just saying it doesn't just happen organically. Thank you for that. I mean, it just doesn't show up. You got to do your research. You got to get it out of them,
Yeah. Well, the price is pretty pretty high to pay here, and it just keeps dropping. I got 500. I don't even think you can get that anymore. But I do think he gets it done. Jourdain, he's coming off the win over Andre Ewell. This is also short notice for him. But Ewell, he really didn't have any sort of grappling threat to offer, which played to a huge advantage for Jourdain because he is a pretty decent striker. But when we see him fight guys who can take it to the mat, he tends to struggle. Desmond Green, Andre Fili, Julian Erosa, he's 0-3 when he gets taken down more than one time. And Ilia does have that threat. He can take this down to the ground if he wants to. When he's not getting first-round KOs, we saw him take down Yusuf Zalal 5 times and control over half the fight. So I'd look for him to employ that game plan at some point. If not, he can stand and strike as well. He's very well-rounded. So, I mean, sub, KO, decision, any way it happens, I do think Topuria gets it done here. And then to finish it off, Raoni Barcelos, minus 440 over Victor Henry. This was supposed to be on the Dacus Lewis card, got canceled. I had Barcelos then. I got Barcelos now. I mean, he's super well-rounded, great. He has very good striking. He's very accomplished in BJJ. I believe he's a 7th-degree coral belt, which is like got to be one of the highest I've ever seen when I'm researching these fighters. I mean, he's just born to be a fighter. So yeah, I'm sticking with Barcelos. I had him picked the other time around. Only thing that's interesting to note, Barcelo closed around minus 350 for the Lewis Dacus fight. You know, Henry's going to have a longer camp now. I would have thought maybe, now he's more juiced up to minus 440, and that was the best price I could find on him. So I'll still take him to win here.
And when you mean juice, you don't mean taking steroids?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
USADA, shout out to USADA.
Yeah,
Things done.
Yeah.
No, like the line is inflated now. Like he closed at minus 350, and now he opened there and has been inflated to, minus 440 and beyond, which is just interesting because it's the same fight, but now Henry has more time. But I'm still riding with Barcelos. Heavy price to pay on pretty much all these, but pays out minus 104. So I'll probably add a couple more picks, kind of like Saeed Nurmagomedov in a parlay, maybe the co-main over 1.5. But I haven't bet those yet, so we'll
maybe a little a little Ngannou Bills parlay. Who knows?
Wow,
get crazy. By the way,
is that what Helwani's betting?
I'm just saying. Great insight here from our good friend Jedi Goodman. That's Jed space I dot Goodman. Since UFC 74, for heavyweight undisputed title fights, the favorites are 10-10 using the closing line. 10-10. Wow. How about that? And how about this one? UFC flyweight championship bouts, the favorites 13-4-1.
That's not good.
Just saying, them's the facts.
I mean, those are the facts, man. I mean, listen, if the underdogs go 1-1, I would still get a small profit. It wouldn't be the best scenario, but if I go 1-1, that would be I can live with that.
Do you drink tea?
Yeah, occasionally green tea.
What do you think of Woodley's method of continuously dunking the tea bag? Like usually you just let it sit and then you remove it, but he was dunking it a lot. I also
feel like you only do it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, because then it gets like
the camera angle was so odd
right there.
It was right when you said something too.
Yeah. It was great. I found it soothing. I don't know if it annoyed anyone. There was something soothing, but I've never seen someone dunk it that much. Reminded me back in the ESPN days, we had Masvidal on the Monday after he knocked out Askren. Literally, it was a huge day. We actually had Askren and we had Askren's first interview after getting knocked out, which exploded, like got 2.5 million views. It was nuts. And then Masvidal had a massive plate of pancakes and was pouring the syrup right in front of the camera, and wasn't just like pouring it. He was doing it very like it was like putting his arm all the way up here, and there was something funny about it to me. Yeah. Wearing sunglasses. So we're gonna have him on in a bit.
Trees, man. Rough winter for the trees behind Woodley.
What do you mean? Because they didn't have leaves on them?
I mean, they just looked. It looked scary outside his house.
Well, he's in St. Louis. There were a couple of guys walking back there. I wasn't sure about that, but overall, I thought it was a good Woodley interview. All right, well, good luck to you.
Quick question for JC. Have you ever had like a fighter that looks great on paper, and you're like ready to bet on them, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go for the other guy. Like maybe you're wrong.
Oh, like I like it.
Yeah, like it looks good. You've done the research. Like this is a good.
Right, like I just fade myself.
Exactly.
No, I haven't done that on here, but I mean that might be smart. I don't gamble. I mean,
this is good. This is good insight right here. That's a good follow up.
That's great insight. Was that Ben Askren interview in person? Did he come to ESPN's campus?
He has been, or he was, but that wasn't that one. I mean,
I remember seeing him one time.
Yeah. He came one time. He was doing some tryouts and stuff, and he came in studio, but not the one after he lost. I mean, this was literally the Monday after.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to some questions here. At 4 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Jorge Masvidal. Thank you very much to you, Mr. GC, aka G City. Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Shook my head that much because now I have a headache again. Wow, a lot of questions.
Has arrived to hear from the man himself.
That's me, baby.
Helwani. Live from the Box Studios
Yes.
in beautiful New York City.
Beautiful.
It's on the
Emphasize
nose.
beautiful.
And now, to answer your questions.
That's me, baby.
Get out of your seats and
out of your
feet
seats.
Because here he is.
Here I am.
Helwani.
Yeah. Here I am once again. I'm falling to pieces. Can't deny. Do we have any breaking news music, Frank? It's fantastic. It's one of the great drops that we've ever had on this program. I asked Frank at the beginning of the show if we can have some breaking news music because, my friends, we've got breaking news. Play it again one more time. Breaking news, El Cubano not first this week. How about that? El Cubano got beaten to the punch, and the beautiful-est thing about the whole scenario, I don't even think the dude realized he made history. Carmine Alvaro just walked right into it and had no idea what he was doing because he didn't reference the fact that he was first. Didn't even reference the fact that he beat El Cubano. Cubano very gracious in defeat. But here's Carmine Alvaro leading us off. Now, I think people in the comments let him know, yeah, congrats. Wow, Carmine with the sneak attack. You mean beating El Cubano? That's someone else. LOL, let's go, Carmine. How can you be so chill? Don't you see you created history? Cubano weighs in. History is meant to be broken. Wow, it's just... Carmine then says, hey, mate, I do the same thing every week with the alarm at 10:30 p.m. Adelaide time. You always seem to beat me. Haha, don't worry, El Cubano. You'll always be the GOAT. I mean, how about this? Amazing. Anyway, this is the question. This is the question that made history. One day there's going to be a Trivial Pursuit. There's going to be a whole big thing on Jeopardy. Who beat El Cubano and with what question? This is the question. Hey, Ariel, I'm going from Adelaide to Syracuse in July for my cousin's wedding. I was wondering if you had any recommendations on any spots to see or places to eat while I'm there. That's the one. Also, I wouldn't mind a Vox Studios tour while I'm in New York. Haha. Now, this reminds me of a story. Porch thing's still there. I mean, this is driving me nuts. Reminds me of a story. When Thurman Thomas was drafted by the Buffalo Bills, he thought that he was going to New York City because they told him Buffalo, New York. In reality, he was going to Buffalo, which is a fine city, but nothing like New York City. No bright lights, no Times Square. He thought he was going to get to go to Knicks games. This question sort of reminds me a little bit of that because Syracuse is like 4.5 hours away from New York. I don't know if he's going to make the drive. Also reminds me of a great individual fan, longtime fan named Dave Noseworthy, who's from Halifax, might be Cape Breton. Well, he's definitely from Nova Scotia. In 2014, I was invited to go back to Syracuse to speak to the students. And it was just a big deal to me. I wasn't inviting anyone. He bought a plane ticket to come see me speak to the students because he realized, I guess, how big of a deal it was. It was a really lovely weekend. I went with my kids, my wife. It was beautiful. We even watched the first Bisping Rockhold fight in the lobby of the Sheraton Hotel on campus. And he thought Syracuse, New York, he was coming to New York. He didn't realize that it was, I think he actually bought the ticket to New York City and then realized Syracuse is not in New York City and then had to take the train. So this kind of reminds me of that. All that to say, I haven't been to Syracuse since 2014. I see someone here recommending Pastabilities. I have been to Pastabilities. There was another place that my parents always used to go to when they came to visit me. El Gioconda or something? Dinosaur Barbecue. Of course, there's the Carousel Center. I would go to the campus. It's beautiful in July. There isn't a ton going on there, though, I will admit. The campus, to me, was the most beautiful part. Carousel Center was fun. Wow, this is crazy. Wow, Dave Noseworthy just DM'd me. Wow, I guess he's listening. What's up, Dave? How are you, bud? Gander, Newfoundland. I screwed that up. Why did I say Nova Scotia? He said, most stressful day of his life, worth it though. I mean, the fact that he even flew in for that was crazy, and then he flew into the wrong place. But we made it happen, and we watched Bisping Rocco together. What a legend. Shout out to Dave Noseworthy. Did I not alert the masses? Should I alert the masses about this? New York Rick doesn't tell people about this segment. Okay, here we go. Anyway, back to the questions. El Cubano, second. Hola, Ariel. Earlier this week, the clairvoyante, my daughter Claire, who had 2 correct picks on Saturday, Bills 1,800-0 over the Patriots, pretty much what the score was, and of course Calvin Kattar over Giga Chikadze, picked Davison Figueiredo to win this weekend against Brandon Moreno. She did. So take some solace in that, GC. If she were to be correct again, the series will officially be even after the trilogy 1-1-1. Correct. Hypothetically speaking, if Figgy does pull out the victory, how willing would the UFC be to book a 4th consecutive bout between these 2 fighters? Viva Helwani. Fantastic question, and I think they would be more willing to book it because it's the flyweight division and there isn't a ton going on. Yes, I know there's Askar Askarov. Yes, I know there's Alexandre Pantoja, but it ain't 170. It ain't 185. It ain't heavyweight. So I actually think there is a chance. Now, because Figueiredo was the champion at the beginning of this, see, I always thought they should have gone back to Sarah GSP 3. But I think because GSP won the belt, they're like, okay, we're done with this in the rematch. And so because Figueiredo, in this particular circumstance, will end up with the belt, which is what the scenario was when this whole thing started, maybe they'll feel like time to move on. But I don't think it's a crazy idea at all. So, yeah. And I think it's partially, or maybe even in large part, because of the flyweight division just not having a lot of people. Now, there are people coming up. We've got Kai France, of course, and Mohamed Mokaev. People are very high on, still very young, but maybe. If it's a tremendous fight, it could definitely happen. Any idea from Antonio what the fascination is with calling everything fake these days? When Jorge and Colby first started beefing, everyone cried that it was fake. But if you had been watching their interviews, you could tell something was going on, for sure. Remember, there was a slow build here. This is years in the making. You could tell something was going on. So he's right. Antonio's right. What was going on before they actually said it. Kawa yelling at you to never make them wait on Colby again was an example. Wow, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Does everybody simply want to be able to say, I knew it, in case something actually has worked? I hate that. I hate the rush to say that a fight is fixed. I hate the rush to say that something is fake, a beef is fake, a guy is fake, a guy's scared. I don't know. I don't know what the fascination is, but it's annoying. Israel, good morning from Idaho. Good morning. With Francis's contract issues out in the public, I feel it has really magnified numbers of fights left on contracts, such as Nate. With Conor rumored to only have 2 fights left, not a rumor, it's true. How differently do you think it plays out with the Conor UFC contract? Thank you as always. I think Conor wants to be in the UFC. I think Conor is happy with what he gets paid for the most part. And also, again, as I've said in the past, okay, where's Conor going to go? He's going to go to boxing? Yeah, he'll make a lot, but is that his bread and butter? Does he want to put on his own show? That costs a lot. For the top 1%, it still makes sense. And it's secure. And there's a lot of money to be made. And so there are 4 potentially big free agents this year. There are guys, I mean, I heard that Rafael Sunsao is a free agent and some other names. No one huge at the moment. Kayla, of course, but I reported yesterday, all but done. That's, I mean, essentially just waiting on the signature. The mystery is over. Sound the alarm. Can we get a breaking news, Frank, for that one? It's not really breaking news, but I think he went to lunch. Did you go to lunch? Lunch? Not there? What happened? I guess, did he leave? Did he quit? I think that's, I mean, I don't think, I know. It's all but done. And it makes sense. Most money, security, all that stuff. So you can take her off the table. Diaz, Conor, and Ngannou, Izzy, there's a chance they all remain. Historically, a lot of people don't leave, especially in their prime. But yes, this is going to be a thing that's going to be talked about more and more. And honestly, I think it's because of us. The media added a whole new level of intrigue to this fight. This fight would have been fascinating and anticipated and intriguing, all that stuff, just with the storyline of Gane and Ngannou and the coach and all that stuff. But this adds a whole new layer. And so you're welcome for the pay-per-view buys. Matt, Ariel, good morning. Is Dana announcing a fight, Paddy versus Gordon, Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon? I have some thoughts on that. Before one fighter has even been contacted at a new all-time low. Nah, not really all-time low. I understand the Barstool Paddy relationship and the fact that it would be good promotion for the UFC, but it doesn't sit right with me. So I saw this clip of Dana on Dave Portnoy's podcast announcing, well, I think Dave was kind of trying to get him to announce it, and then he did, and he looks off to the side, and he's like, yeah, Paddy's going to fight March 19th at the O2 against Jared Gordon. Remember, I was talking about Jared Gordon last week on the show where he told me he hadn't been contacted. I saw that. I sent him the tweet, and I was like, hey, congrats, you got the fight. He said, what do you mean? And I guess the tweet didn't come through. He's like, I haven't been called. I haven't been told anything, which I thought was, all right, super interesting. Now I said, is this going to be a problem? And he said, no, I'd love the fight. So yes, end result the same, but there is something to be said for the fact that they didn't even tell him. Now, his manager, Brian Butler, goes on Twitter and is like, hey, we don't know anything about this. And then even Paddy's manager, Graham Boylan, says, hey, this isn't a done deal. So yes, it's a weird look. And it makes me think Dana looked at the wall, saw it there as a proposed matchup, and then just, thank you. Where the hell were you? I asked for this 5 minutes ago. Where did you go?
Not everybody could sit for 4 hours.
Okay, well, thanks. I mean, I'm in the middle of a story here. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So he says it, but they didn't go out and reach. Now, here's what's interesting about it. Two things. You can't get mad at fighters. You can't get mad at media for announcing things. By the way, the media, more often than not, right. Certainly, I could speak for myself always. When you're announcing things prematurely, I mean, it's got to be two-way street here. Okay, that's me just being petty. Number two, though, what's more interesting is I saw Dana on with Kevin Iole afterwards. Someone sent me the clip, and he's like, oh, this manager, that's why I hate this shit. Manager comes on here trying to be a Twitter tough guy chirp. It's like, no, that's his job. That's the guy's job. The guy's job is to represent his fighter. The guy's job is to work in the best interest of his fighter. Again, like I said, what's the average amount of fights that a UFC fighter has? 7, 8, 9, 10? Like, what's that number? They only get a finite amount of time to tell their story, to be out there, to capitalize on this moment in time. Let them do it in the best way possible for them. A throwaway announcement that wasn't even a done deal might be good for you in that moment, but what does that really ultimately do for Dana White in that moment? For Jared Gordon, that was a really big deal. For Paddy Pimblett, that was a really big deal. And if they were on board, great. But to find out like that seems a little bit weird to me. Now, again, perhaps this is much ado about nothing and everyone's, getting all up in arms over, I mean, like it's a fine fight and no one will remember this in 3 months. But it does seem weird for the organization that gets so mad about the media announcing these fights when in reality, the way in which they are reported, announced, the vehicle, it's all so very inconsequential to the business because at the end of the day, who's making all the money? It ain't us. For them to be the ones to jump the gun, i.e. Izzy Whitaker, i.e. Paddy Gordon, i.e. name another fight, to me feels quite hypocritical. Am I crazy? If you guys were announcing things when they were done, then you could be like, look, we don't jump the gun, you guys don't jump the gun. But that's not the case. And so, yeah, it's a weird look. And then to blast the manager and say, yo, chill out. When you used to be a manager yourself, seems like, I mean, obviously it's been a long time since he was a manager, so you forget how that game is played. But it's like you that's their job, man. Everyone has a job in this thing. And their job may be more important because at the end of the day, it's their money and it's their events and all that stuff. They're at the very top of the mountain. But everyone has a role in this thing called the fight game. You can't hate on the manager for being like, yo, no one told us. They didn't say we're sitting out. They didn't say we're not going to take the fight, but it's good to get the heads up. If you were an odds maker, what would you set the Burns Chimaev line at? Oh, that's a good one. GC, you have a pick on that? You have an odds?
He has gotten that.
God, you guys are just leaving me on an island. Well, when he comes back, let me know what he thinks. Nico, hey, Ariel, last week you mentioned Conor had distanced himself from Dylan Dennis. I mean, that was just me kind of, putting a little salt in the wound there. But I mean, like, do you see Conor talking about Dylan? I was watching my phone, and I was watching Instagram Live. I was looking at my phone, I should say, and Conor jumps on there, and Dylan's like, "Hey, champ, hey," just like the kid, like, tugging at the shirt, and Conor's like, "Dylan, let's go, get back." And it was so telling. It was so telling that he was like, "We got to get back out there, man." It just felt to me like, and I've seen them pose and all that, and quite frankly, I couldn't care less about the relationship, but it did seem to me like a little bit of distancing. Anyway, can you elaborate? There's nothing to elaborate. I've not looked into it. I haven't asked Conor about it, anything like that. So I got nothing. A good response here from Lewis. Conor likes to be the richest guy in the room, so with Dylan Dennis around, it wasn't possible. Ha! If Figueiredo wins by an inch, do they do the fourth Moreno fight for Matt? Yeah, I think there's a strong case. Jesse, hey, Ariel, as a proud Canadian who specializes in interviewing athletes and entertainers, I have to imagine you are familiar with Nardwuar, the human serviette legend, living legend. In fact, my good friend Brandon Svark just asked me this very question like 3 days ago if I knew who Nardwuar was, and of course I do. He's incredible. I bet Frank knows who Nardwuar is.
Is it the Domino's character?
What?
Yeah, I'm completely wrong. I don't know.
Nardwuar. No, that's the guy. You mean like the little like cartoon character guy from back in the day?
Yeah.
What was that guy's name?
Thought it was the Nardwuar.
No. You don't know Nardwuar? You're a big music guy.
I don't, but you know what?
The Noid.
Back.
The Noid.
The Noid. That's
the Noid.
Yeah, but Connor's back.
Conor, do you know Nardwuar?
No, never heard of it.
Oh my, never heard of it.
Him?
He's a freaky, he's a guy he's like a quirky Canadian music interviewer who gets biggest,
yeah.
And he breaks out like all their old artifacts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like,
Yeah,
oh, I got this
like
poster from your first show back in like Baton Rouge in 1983. Anyway.
He does like huge people too. Like I'm looking at a picture of him with Drake. Yeah, no, I know who this is.
Oh, he's the freaking man, Nardwuar. I'm shocked that Frank doesn't know who Nardwuar is. Someone asked, oh, he left. Someone asked for the Chimaev Burns line if they make that fight.
I think the future one was Chimaev minus 300.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Bet Online like does like future bout things. And someone tweeted it at me, and it's like minus 300. Yeah, he's a heavy favorite. Okay.
Someone asked me last week on the show if Ramadan would affect that April 9th date, and I asked Khamzat's team, and they said no, it won't. So if it happens on April 9th, Ramadan starts April 2nd. They said, I didn't really get into it, but they said no, that won't be a problem. So, well, you didn't know if I was going to go. No, that was it. It's just a quick, I just.
Are there rumors of Brazil in May? Is that
yes, there are rumors of Brazil in May.
Throw
Charles
Gilbert on there.
No, I think the date that I heard was April 9th. But I would like Charles and Gaethje in May, and then Glover and Yuri Prochaska on that card as well. Let Charles and Glover have their moment in Brazil. I mean, it's very exciting that they're going back to the UK. That crowd is going to be insane. That crowd is going to be so hot. Wow. Anyway, I can even see a little bit of his style, Nardwuar style, in yours. Wow, thank you. What are your feelings on Nardwuar? Legend. I love him. I love the artifacts. I love the little gifts. I love the research. He's the best. Again, legend. Love that guy. I would love to interview him. Please tell me you're a big fan. I am. It would only make sense. Huh. Dax says, what similarities do you see between Ariel and Nardwuar other than being well prepared? Ariel is professional and likable, and Nardwuar is quite possibly the most irritating media member on the planet Earth. What? You're crazy. Okay, let me go to the next one. What is the hierarchy like in the UFC? I know Dana is probably at the top, but then you have people like Hunter Campbell, chief legal counsel, not his lawyer. I liked when Dana referred to Nikisa Badarian as his former accountant. This guy was the CFO of the UFC. He was in the room when they sold the company for $4.025 billion. He was not doing their taxes. I can assure you of that. It's weird to refer to someone like that. Who's the CFO of the company? What? What is the hierarchy like in the UFC? Okay, you got Hunter, you got Sean, you got Mick. How much power do they hold? I would make a strong case right now that the most powerful person in the UFC is Hunter Campbell. He's the one who's in the trenches doing these negotiations. Like, I'm talking Nate, it's Hunter. I'm talking Francis, it's Hunter. I'm talking big-time fights, Izzy, it's Hunter. It's not Dana. Dana's doing the media, and he's the figurehead. Hunter Campbell is arguably the most powerful person in the UFC right now. Hunter Campbell's dad used to be Lorenzo Fertitta's lawyer for many years, and also was the lawyer. So he worked with Dana as well, and they worked with the UFC. So he's been there a long time. And then when the previous chief legal counsel left, he came in and took over a lot of the responsibilities of Lorenzo, in the sense that it was like a good cop, bad cop thing with Dana. But he is doing a lot of that negotiations. He's not just like a lawyer. Not at all. Not even close. He's doing a lot of that stuff. And for the most part, I have to say, a lot of people speak very highly of him. They like dealing with him. Level-headed, not too emotional, doesn't make it personal. I have never actually met Hunter Campbell. I've had one interaction with him. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the show, but YOLO. I remember I was actually here when I reported it. I was leaving the studio that he was taking the job as the new chief legal counsel. I think this was in 2017. And I got a text from him saying, wow, the great Ariel Helwani has tweeted about me. How cool. Hey, man, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, I'm a big fan of journalism. I'm a fan of what you do. If you ever need anything, this is my number. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, this is great. Maybe this is a sign of a different time, a sign that things are changing. And I texted that number on several other occasions and never got a reply. That was it. That was the one interaction. So I don't know what happened afterwards. I don't know who told him not to do that anymore or whatever, but I was very excited to get that text, and I never got anything else, which is a bummer. Hunter, give me a call. Text. I know you know who I am. Let's chat. I feel like I'm doing some good stuff here. That would be a big interview. I'd love to have that interview on the show. That would be a great one. Could you imagine? So anyway, Hunter's there. Lawrence Epstein is there. Dana's there. And then you've got Mick and Sean, who have I think that they have a supremely tough job. And it's crazy to me that there aren't like scouts and people working under them. I mean, you think of it like a baseball team, baseball operations. You've got so many people that you don't know of. You know who the president of baseball operations is. You know who the GM is. But all the scouts and all those people, like there's a ton all over the world. They don't have anything like that. It's a very small team. But yeah, I'd say Hunter, Dana, Lawrence, Mick, Sean, they're probably the most important. There's someone named Tracy in the legal department. She's important, not really making decisions, but an integral part of the team. And then, of course, you have our Emmanuel and Patrick Whitesell, who are kind of in the ownership side of things, but obviously very important as well. Hey, Ariel, thoughts on Amanda leaving ATT and also your favorite Adelaide Crows player? Oh, that'd have to be Ben Hart. Ben Hart's fantastic. He'd probably be my favorite of all time. Amanda leaving ATT, I will say I had been hearing rumblings of this for a while. Bit of a long time coming type of situation, not a total shock. I would say to leave and start your own team. Let's see where she lands. Remember, she came from MMA Masters and went to ATT. So I don't know if she goes back to Masters. To start your own thing is a tough thing to do. I think that raises some red flags going into the rematch with Pena. I think that makes things interesting between her and Kayla Harrison. Obviously, that fight's not going to happen anytime soon with Kayla Harrison re-signing, but it won't be the longest deal, so it could happen maybe in 18, 20 months or something like that. Yeah, I think it's an interesting move. What also makes it interesting is that Dan Lambert, founder of ATT, has been her manager for many years. I asked Dan if he can comment on that. I asked him if he will remain her manager, and he said he couldn't comment. So I think that's interesting as well. Any chance, this is from Ryan, any chance we get a Discord server going for the real Helwanis to talk things including MMA? My good friend TST was telling me about Discord and that it was something interesting to look into. I know nothing about it. Do you know anything about Discord back there?
Yeah, it's like Slack.
Yeah.
But
it's just like a chat?
related. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my thing. I mean, I feel like I got enough going on. Are you a big Bitcoin guy, Frank?
No, I defer to Joe on all things Bitcoin.
Joe, so there was some big news yesterday that Francis Ngannou is going to convert half of his purse into Bitcoin. This makes no sense to me. I know nothing. I'm completely clueless when it comes to Bitcoin. I don't know what it is, how you get it, how you touch it, how you use it, if that's smart. Like, is that smart? Joe, tell us, is that smart?
Joe is making, like, he's wincing.
He doesn't think it's smart. Joe's more mysterious than you are at this point.
Yeah, because I just tried to hand him the mic, and
he wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't want his voice.
I think it's like, yeah.
Joe, come on, tell us. Is it smart or not? I'm legitimately curious to know why someone would do this. Why not take the money?
He just says he has no idea to comment on that right
now. GC, are you a Bitcoin guy?
I got a little invested. Nothing crazy.
Wow, look at you. Okay. What do you think of that?
I didn't hear that question. I was putting my headphones on.
I mean, this is just a comedy of error. Is anyone listening to me back there? Is anyone still alive back there?
Frank kills the room, so I had to put the headphones on.
Oh, he kills the room. Okay. He's converting half of his purse into Bitcoin, Francis Ngannou. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Some NFL players get their whole thing. Some NBA players too get their whole.
That's crazy.
In Bitcoin.
So good. Like, what does that even mean? NFTs, Bitcoin. It gives me all.
Your boy TST loves NFTs.
Yeah. Just
Carrying Camel.
I don't even know what that is.
That's
Gary V.
Yeah, that's his Gary V NFT. Ask him about Gary V's book. I know.
Yes, I'm the one who introduced him to Gary V.
Well, he owns like 150 of Gary V's book.
Anyway, Gary V would be a good guest on this program. So yeah, Discord sounds cool, but no real thoughts at the moment on it or doing it. Hi, Ariel. If you had to, would you rather, by the way, Mr. Jorge Masvidal coming up in 20 minutes, so stay tuned. If you had to, would you rather take a leg kick from Justin Gaethje or a body kick from Giga? Oh, God. Neither, but if I had to, I don't know. I guess the body kick, because it will kill in the moment, but hopefully, I don't know. I mean, the leg could break, but I guess the ribs can break. I don't know. But I guess if I had to, the body kick. Big fan of the show. Shout out to my brother, Griffin Jones. We're both pumped to see Todd Duffy versus John Vellante this weekend. Bills Mafia. Patrick, favorite segment of the week. Hello, 2 quick questions. How's your relationship with John Jones these days? I haven't talked to him in a while. Is he still salty because of your friendship with DC? I don't think so. John doesn't do any interviews. When's the last time John did any kind of interview? I hope we see John Jones in the front row Saturday night, pond, taking it all in. He's on Twitter. John, if you're listening, let's have you on the show on Monday to react to the main event. How about that? That'd be fun, just like old times. So, no beefs here. I think he didn't like the one time where I said that I didn't have him as my pound for pound best, but that's stupid. I hope that's not the case. No issues on this end. How have you not been on the McAfee show? Can we expect an appearance this week to hype up the UFC pay-per-view and get some Bills talk as well? I don't know. They've been ghosting me lately. I was thinking about it. Haven't been on in a while. Didn't make the year-end video. No interactions whatsoever. Is it possible that when I ripped his picture, that kind of went a little too far? I guess it's possible. I mean, mea culpa, hand raised. It was how I was feeling in the moment. But yes, I have not been asked to go on. Weird. My feeling was they recognize just how popular I am. They recognize the behemoth that we are, that we're coming for them, that we're nipping at their heels, and they don't want to put us over. They don't want to give us the shine. They don't want to. They want to give the rub to the competition. It'll be very Ultimate Fighter Monday Night Raw-esque when Monday Night Raw opened the door for the Ultimate Fighter to come on after them on Spike TV, and then all of a sudden Ultimate Fighter UFC got so big. It would be sort of like that. So I can understand it. I can understand the trepidation. If Ngannou wins this weekend, what do you think the UFC does with the heavyweight title? Because it seems like Ngannou is headed to free agency one way or the other. No, they're going to re-sign him. That's my opinion. They're going to give him the money that he wants, and he will resign. I really do believe that. No insider information there, just what my heart is saying. Hey, Ariel, I have 2 questions. Have you seen the video of John Jones trying to dunk a basketball? Yes. I have referenced, maybe he doesn't like me because of that, because I have referenced John Jones' basketball skills on this program, or lack thereof. And yes, I mean, it's not great. When we have him on the MMA Hour, hopefully Monday, but I'm not holding my breath. Ariel, Kayla always talked about her competitiveness and wanting to be the best fighter in the sport. To be the best, she would have to beat some of the best. I don't see PFL signing anyone like that. Was the money that drastic to get her to stay and keep fighting women no one has heard of? Yes. She's getting great money. And by the way, considering who she is in the sport and, her lack of experience, if you will, UFC came correct from what I'm hearing. UFC came correct, but the PFL deal was the best by far. And by the way, Kayla can still fight this season in the PFL, and let's see how, but you have to remember, this person is very competitive, dedicated her life to the Olympics. Olympians don't make a lot of money. She now has 2 children that she adopted. Take the money and run. No one cares at the end of the day. You can't go to the bank and deposit a UFC belt and get money for school and for clothes and for food and for trips and for home repairs. You can't. She's a single mother raising 2 children. Let's recognize this, people. Anyone giving her crap for this decision is a complete asshole. Facts. FAX. I get that you all want, I'm seeing media guys give her crap. I get that you guys want to see your little Kayla Harrison UFC fight. She's a human being, small window, competing her whole life, didn't make a lot of money. She's getting paid a boatload to fight lesser competition. That seems like the best gig on the planet. Take that money and run. Come on. Killshaw, happy Good Memory Day, Ariel. Thank you. With Giga's 9 out of 10 comment post-Qatar fight, Calvin Kattar fight, which fighter in recent memory with lowest odds has oversold and underdelivered? Gerald Mearshart comes to mind. But are there others you got excited for right before fights and then brought back to reality? Man. Probably, but I can't think of any at the moment. Gerald was a good one, where I bought it, hook, line, and sinker, and then they didn't show up. I mean, Juliana was talking a big game, but she backed it up. On a side note, quick thoughts on Everton sacking Rafa Benitez and what lies ahead for them. Do you think they'll get relegated? No. Is it time you changed your allegiance to Liverpool? No, never. Listen, once you're blue till you die. Blue moon. No, I know that's Man City. Relax, everyone. Hey, Ariel, it's Theo, longtime fan, first-time poster. What's up, Theo? Lauren, my new wife, we got married on Sunday, also loves listening to your shows. Mazel tov. That's amazing. Shout out to you and Lauren. We are going to UFC 271, our second UFC event. Which fighter, other than the main event for 271, are you most looking forward to? Also, what is your favorite part of a Jewish wedding? Wow. Personally, the horror with my family and friends was mine. I can't imagine what that was like. I like that. I love the custom of breaking the glass. I think it's a really cool thing. When we broke the glass for our wedding, my father-in-law actually picked up, it was a light bulb, and we smashed it, and he picked it up and put it in he took the glass, put it in his pocket, and then gave us this cube thing where it put the glass back together. I thought that was really cool with our names on it and stuff. So I like that custom. That's fun. As for 271, I think the Cannonier-Brunson fight is gigantic. So stay tuned for that. Also, Casey O'Neill, Roxanne Modafferi retirement fight. That should be fun as well. Top of the morning, Lord Ariel. Yes, that's right. I don't know if you heard the news, but I'm a Lord now, thanks to our good friends that we mentioned on Monday for the piece of land in Scotland. There it is. Wow. How about that? Lord Ariel. Thank you very much for that. Yes. My Lord, top of the morning to you. No, I can't do it. Horrible accent. I was wondering why you have not yet commented on the UFC's March 26 card. It's Jan versus Alexander Rakic. I broke that news. The great thing about this fight is it's a fight night with fans in Columbus. Yes, this is great. I've actually already purchased my tickets. And now with this morning, them officially confirming the London card with fans, this will be 2 weeks in a row with fans and fight nights. This is great. Is this the end of the Apex? No, I think they'll still use the Apex. But hopefully it's less and less. 12 minutes. Jorge Masvidal. Hey, Ariel, any news of a main event for UFC London? Not yet. I know there's the Arnold Allen Hooker fight, but when I was speaking to people, they said it was 3 rounds. But I think it could be worthy. That fight is fun. And again, they could put me versus Frank in the main event, and I think they still sell it out in minutes. Not a huge fan of the NFL, but good luck to your Bills this weekend. Thank you. I'll be rooting for them. Nervous, excited. I just want one. That's all, guys. One. And I'll shut up. I'm not going to be one of these fans who's like, oh, I want back-to-back. I just want one. I just want to know what it feels like to see your team win. That's it. I want to know what that Sunday night feels like when they're hoisting the trophy and there's the confetti. And then I just want to know what it feels like once. That's it. That's all I ask for. Once. One Nick championship, one Bills championship, one Expos World Series. I'm good for life. I'll never ask for anything again, when it comes to sports. Will, do you ever see a scenario where you and Dana have a sit down to hash out the beef? No. And not because of me, because I would do it. I was prepared to go and do it. When the UFC on ESPN deal started, I was asked to send a text. I said I would get on a plane and do it. And it wasn't reciprocated. So I don't see why things would change now. And why did your loyalty fall with the Bills and not the Jets or Giants? Because in Montreal at the time when I was growing up, the Bills were the team that were on all the time on NBC, Game of the Week. And so I would see them a lot, but it's really, I watched them against the Giants in that first Super Bowl in 1991. I'm 8 years old. Scott Norwood misses the field goal. I feel something in my heart that I've never felt before as a quote-unquote fan. I'm just 8. I felt bad for those guys, and I wanted to see them get that championship. And I felt like heartbreak for them. And so I said, that's my team. And I just rolled with them. Alex, on Monday, Aljo told us Jan will be getting pay-per-view points as the interim champ. Is that the norm? Yes. That's why I've always said, I hate what the interim title does to the belts. It waters them down. But I do love the fact that it does get the interim champion pay-per-view points. So yes, more often than not, that is the case. Do you presume the same for Ciryl? Yes. I am always curious who's getting a variable purse based on pay-per-view buys. I know historically it's just a champ, but what about other big stars? Nate, yes. Jorge, yes. Colby, not sure about. Dustin, rematch. No, sorry, trilogy. I keep saying rematch because it was the second after the, 7 years in between. But yes, trilogy, yes. But it's very rare. They're more open to it. Look, we talk about this. This is the truth, and this is why I will always tell it to you like it is. Okay. We talk about fighter pay, and there's a lot of people in the media that talk about fighter pay, but it's the same old hits. And I'm not just trying to sit here and do the old Barry Horowitz, but I'll talk about it and I'll give you my opinion, but I will also talk to people. There needs to be more talking. There needs to be more phone calls. There needs to be more research, more reporting. The UFC is actually paying more money to their stars than they ever have before. I just told you they came correct with Kayla. I thought what I heard, the deal on the table was a very good one for someone of her stature in the sport and experience level in the sport. They're actually paying, the top guys are getting increasingly happier. The top. Now I'm saying the middle class is the issue and the lower class is a bit of an issue as well. I would even say the lower class isn't the issue. It's really like the middle to the newbie champions. The top, they're actually getting a pretty good salary for what the history of UFC salaries would state. Now, do they get a good salary compared to boxing stars? No. Compared to NBA, revenue sharing, all that. But in terms of what it's been, it actually has come a ways. You know what I mean? It has improved. Can it improve more? Should it improve more? Yes. Hey, Ariel, I feel like Francis's situation has to be one of the most interesting championship storylines heading into a fight that I've seen. I agree. How often do you get someone of this magnitude putting not only the heavyweight title, but potentially his future career on the line? It's crazy. I was wondering what you think of his timeline could look if he retains the belt. If he retains the belt, I think they're going to try their best to resign him. I mean, they'll still have a year to do so. So it's not like he's going to walk away like CM Punk did against John Cena. His deal expires December 31st, 2022. Champions clause or not. Greetings from South Carolina, Ariel Corbin. The one division that still seems stale lately is light heavyweight. I don't see why Yuri wouldn't just take the fight with Rakic because he's going to have to fight him anyway if they both win their next fights. Well, he wanted the championship. But yeah, it has been a little stale because Yuri hasn't fought in a while and they kind of kept him on ice there. But there's some people coming up, and I think Glover shaking it up was fun. So, I mean, you lose a guy like John Jones, it's going to take some time to rebuild it a little bit, but I don't hate it. I'm looking forward to that fight. Hey, Ariel, from Ike. Hope you're well. I've got 2 questions, if you don't mind. Firstly, assuming Francis wins this weekend, do you really think he walks away with the belt? No, because they'll have a year. If not, what sort of conclusion do you see with the UFC? I think ultimately he resigns. That's my prediction. That's my gut feeling. Secondly, after beating Masvidal, who does Colby fight next? Assuming Usman successfully defends. I really like this fight for the entertainment, but when you really dig down deep, it truly doesn't make sense for Colby to accept this fight. Of course it does. It's a big-time money fight. There's history there. There's a rivalry. I mean, it's the biggest fight he can have, without question. Who does he fight? I don't know. Gilbert? How about the winner of Gilbert and Chimaev? There's Luque out there. You know, there's a multitude. If Leon loses, if Usman loses, there's a multitude of people. Don't worry about that. Bonjour, Ariel from Benoit. Is it me or does the UFC not know how to build a new superstar? They put the prospect in a big match so quick like Ty and Lewis. I mean, Ty's not a prospect. He has been around. Chimaev Burns. I'd rather see those guys fight guys you rank closer to, top 10. I don't mind it. Sink or swim, the losses don't mean as much. I think the fans like it. And, you know, it's worth the shot. BZ Drippin'. I believe you have said before that the PFL needed to get to a point to when they could discuss PFL champions being in legitimate conversations with title holders in the UFC. I said that about Bellator, but I mean, it applies to everyone. So he's asking about Bellator. Do you think Sergio, Chris Cyborg, Pitbull would even have a shot? Yeah, I think Bellator has finally reached a point where they have multiple champions who could be in that conversation. Nemkov, Sergio, Cyborg, of course, AJ McKee. They've never had this many champions where you could say, all right, there's a conversation to be had. They're not just Gegard. You know, there's a conversation to be had. That's, to me, any organization trying to come up. Now, every organization has their own sort of raison d'être, their reason to be. Bellator, owned by Viacom on Showtime, they want to sell subscriptions. PFL, they've got investors. They've got a ton of investors. They want to make those people happy. That's their raison d'être. Same with One, by the way. UFC just raking in the dough they're just so far and ahead of everyone. I think, by the way, we'll get a conclusion to that PFL TV deal situation very soon. My spidey sense says they return to the worldwide leader. And that's a very big story in its own right. It may not be a big story to the common MMA fan, but the platform means a lot. Huge for them to be back there. Good for ESPN, good for Plus and all that stuff. Surprised the UFC didn't have an issue with it. Or I actually think they had an issue, but shows that they can only push so much. Jacob, hey Ariel, Dana had said the 272 card was complete besides the co-main. And no idea. I get asked about the co-main a lot. No idea. Hey Ariel, 2 questions. Is a potential Diaz-Poirier bout high profile / worthy enough to main event the pay-per-view in your opinion? I mean, now that they went with Jorge and Colby, sure. In the past, they were always saying, like, if it ain't a Conor fight, it's got to be a title fight, right? Last non-title fight to headline a pay-per-view without Conor or Nathan Diaz was Nick versus Anderson in 2015. So it's been some time. 12, 13 pay-per-views a year, 12, like that's 70-something shows, right? So high 60s. So yeah, why not? In my opinion, it's got to be, if they're doing a 272 headliner as the main. Uncle Chael gets it wrong all the time, saying Jorge is the second biggest star. I believe Diaz is. Jorge's star is definitely dim, to say the least. Although I've watched casually since I was younger, around the late 2000s up to this present day, I've known the likes of Silva, GSP, the Diaz bros, Machida, Brock, and more. Just recently started paying attention. Were some fight nights... Yeah. So David is asking if back in the day on the fight nights or the Fox cards, did they put title fights? Yes. Well, they obviously put the heavyweight title fight back in the day. The first show, Kane, JDS. They put DJ. For the most part, those were saved for the big ones. And I think that it's fair to say like the 2 ABC shows last year weren't as big as what the early day Fox cards were. I think that's a very fair statement. So... it's all in-house now for ESPN. As Dana said, they sold those pay-per-views. They gave them exclusively to ESPN Plus. So I think it would behoove in ESPN's mind to put those on Plus pay-per-views so that people subscribe and buy the pay-per-views and all that stuff. But yes, it does feel cool when those big fights are on free television, broadcast television. And that was more of the norm in the early Fox days. Towards the end, not so much. Early Fox days. What's up, Ariel? With the UFC returning to London on March 19th and Columbus March 26th, can we expect fight nights back on the road? I still think they'll go to Apex, but hopefully more on the road. Ariel, does the UFC have a criteria when it comes to making non-title co-main events 5 rounds? No. It's like basically if the two people agree on it and push for it, they'll do it. What surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble would get you most excited? Oh my. Surprise. How about Helwani? What if it goes and then it's and Helwani walks out of the curtain in St. Louis, Missouri. And I walk out there and I'm strutting my stuff and everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my God, the #1 personality in sports media hasn't. Come on, me versus Johnny Knoxville, who's a bigger deal? You tell me, what's a bigger deal if Helwani is in the Royal Rumble or Johnny Knoxville? With all due respect to Johnny Knoxville, 10 years past his prime. Frank, you tell me, bigger deal in the Royal Rumble, me or Johnny Knoxville?
I'm on the clock right now.
Me or Johnny Knoxville? Answer the question.
So you.
Come on, Johnny Knoxville? Johnny Knoxville, really?
I answered fairly.
Is this 1999? Johnny Knoxville is a bigger deal than me in the Royal Rumble?
I have said that you would be the better guest to have.
It's not a guest. It's an entrant. Okay? It's one of 30 men climbing through those ropes on our way to WrestleMania. We'll point to the sign, and I'll go in there first if I have to. And I'll throw every one of those jabrones over the top rope, including the biggest jabron of them all, Kevin Owens. All right? It's a big deal. Now, Royal Rumble coming up in a week and a half. I'm available. In fact, I'll be there. So I just want to let you all know, you better be on the lookout. Could you imagine what a scene that would be? Come in there with my singlet. Hey, Ariel, I wanted to be the first to say thank you for being the best in the business. Wow. Kevin, thank you. There's a reason why you get the best and in and outside the MMA world on your shows. The interview you just did with Dan Le Batard was amazing. Thank you. I love how your relationship with that show has evolved. Thank you. How close were you to signing with Meadowlark Media? Keep up the great work. Keep dropping those 10-7s on folks. And remember, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I talked to Dan. I love Dan, but it just wasn't the right fit right now. And I'm very, very happy with how everything turned out. But yes, I love that. I love that line at the end there. Shout out to Chris Berman. Steven, Lord Ariel, are the commentators hired by ESPN or employed by the UFC? The UFC commentators are employed by the UFC. They are paid by the UFC. So Anik, Rogan, Cormier, Cruz, Bisping, paid by the UFC. Now, I'm certain if ESPN had a problem with one of these people, but they don't really meddle in that sort of thing. It's a very unique deal. When you're watching the NBA on ESPN, those announcers aren't being paid by the NBA. Certainly not the teams. When you're watching MLB on ESPN, NFL on ESPN, the UFC deal is the most unique one. Even Top Rank on ESPN, it's ESPN doing the hiring and the paying. It's probably the most unique of all their deals. Are they fairly paid or same issue as the fighters? I mean, far be it for me to talk about what the other broadcasters are making. I would say, based on what I know, I would like for them to get paid more. I think they're very, very good at their job, and I think they're an important piece of the whole presentation. Just remember hearing Rogan was basically doing it for free in the earlier days of his career. Yeah, Rogan's doing fine now, and he could essentially do it free because he's doing fine. But those guys are important. They really are. They've got great, think about the fact that they're A team, they're B team, there's really no drop off. I know fans complain about this guy or that guy, but they've got an incredible group of broadcasters, in my opinion. All very talented. All could do the pay-per-view this weekend. My guy, Lewis, If that fight happens, it's from Terrence. Hey, Ariel, can we have Pena on the show to talk about her wanting to fight Rousey? I reached out to Pena recently and she no-sold me. And then I saw her on with Mario Lopez on the Ellen show. What the heck? Shout out to Mike Heck. What the heck? New York Rick says Frank no-sold you because you challenged him to the UFC London main event. Makes sense. Did I? Did I challenge Frank in that?
You did, in passing.
Wow. Okay. The trash talk alone would be WWE type. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Ronda's not fighting. Oh, Lewis, my man, Lord knows. You said you will be at the Royal Rumble for BT. That is correct. I note that 15... Wait, is he going to ask me the question that I just talked about? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I note that 15 of the 30 Royal Rumble match participants have been announced. Can we expect El Nariz to hit the... Wow, I didn't even see this one. Lewis and I are on the same page. I can't confirm nor deny. On a serious note, are there any lessons learned from covering Survivor Series last year? Things you want to try or do differently? I think more of the immediate post-match interviews like with Becky Lynch would be awesome. That is in the works. Yes, I'm enjoying it. Last one, can you think of any surprise entrance you would pop for? Wow. Same question. Yeah, Helwani, that's what I want. I can't really think of a surprise because everyone's under... You know what? I'll tell you one. Can we bring Bray Wyatt back? Can we end this nonsense with Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt was one of the best characters. Bray, Fiend, whatever. Can we bring him back? Imagine they do the... and the music. Like, everything goes black and then it's like... We're really saying that, and this, or the old school Bray Wyatt when he comes out. Remember that? With the lamp. That'd be amazing. So that would be the one. Because I feel like no one sees it coming. Like no one is expecting him to come back. I miss Bray Wyatt. He was great. Okay, Mark, I'm repeating my question from last week. Thank you. I'm bitter about the pay-per-view increase. What are my options to show my displeasure? If I skip them, I lose as a fan. I'm not savvy with piracy. What are my options? No, I'm not advocating for that. I mean, yeah, you could go to a bar, or why don't you just have some friends over if you want to split it. If you liked watching alone, then I would say you just got to watch it. I mean, there's really nothing you can do. End of the day, $5. You hope it's not the end of the world, but I can understand where you're coming from. But yes, ultimately you will lose. And don't stream them. Come on. Don't be that guy. Hi, Ariel. How likely do you think John Jones is to face this weekend's winner? Man, if not now, when? I reported yesterday, Stipe is waiting and hoping, and he wants that shot. He wants to fight the winner. I don't know if they go back to that well. And so other than that, who else is out there? Derek just fought Ciryl. I mean, maybe they go immediate rematch, but this is the time. If we don't see it now, I don't know what we're waiting for. It's going to be 2 years since his last fight next month. Any shot that UFC 273, which was rumored for Brooklyn, ends up in Seattle. No, I mean, Aljo said Jacksonville. And then I went around and asked everyone who's on that card, and they said they didn't hear that, so I'm not sure. But Jacksonville will make sense just given, their relationship with Jacksonville and that Jacksonville opened, their doors to them. What's up with Abe here? At the beginning of the pandemic. John, do you think there's any possibility of Conor, two ends, jumping the line at 155? It initially seemed like it was a possibility, being that it is Conor, but now with the Cejudo thing, does Conor, and now he spelled Conor Coonor, still have a shot at jumping the line? Now they're going to do Gaethje versus Charles. Now, does he jump the line when he comes back? I don't know. I think he's just messing with people. Honestly, if I were managing Conor, advising Conor, I would say, yo, let's ease back into it. Let's get our mojo going. Let's build you back up. No need to rush this, to push this. So I don't think that that's a really smart, like, you want to go back after a year in there and fight the champion? The guy who's on fire, beating everyone up? It's dicey. Hi, Ariel. Who's the one fighter / coach / promoter you wish you could interview but refuses to go on your show? God. I don't know. I don't want to give them that shine. I'm open to anyone. I am open to anyone. Also, just want to say I agree with New York Rick regarding Volkanovski's zombie fight. Not an attractive matchup, especially for a main event of a pay-per-view. And then the UFC wants me to spend my hard-earned 75 on this? No way, I'll pass on this one just on principle. Really? Did New York Rick crap on that fight? I'm okay with it. Zombies won 4 or 5. Caters won 4 or 5. Holloway's not available. There aren't a ton of great options. Unless you really wanted the Cejudo fight, which I can understand. But, you know. It ain't gonna happen. He's gonna have to fix that or just go to 135, have his people talk to them, but it's not happening anytime soon. Thanks, Ariel. Congrats on being the best MMA show in the world. Adrian, Thug Nose, whatever happened to you and the other great nose, comedy great New York legend Andrew Schultz? I smelled the beef for a bit, but it seems to have faded away. I mean, there was no beef there. I think it was all in jest, I think. The whole Brendan thing. I think you two could have an incredible conversation and could really make for some amazing content. I have no issues with them whatsoever. I have no beef. I honestly, I'm not a huge follower. I don't follow a ton of comedians. I mean, I love comedy. That guy, Sebastian, is great. There's a really funny guy on Instagram, Leo Gonzalez, that I like. I'm butchering his name for sure. But yeah, no, I have no issues with him. He seems like a good dude and a very talented dude. We need you on the Flagrant 2 podcast. They had Israel Adesanya, but we need the real Helwani to show them something. Is that his podcast? They can't afford me. Second. Brett, in terms of production value, matchmaking, quality of cards, entertainment, what is in your opinion, the pound for pound best MMA promotion, quality relative to budget? Gosh. Let me just tell the guys here. That's a good question. UFC, obviously, when they do it big, I would have to say KSW. Have you seen KSW's walkouts? Their promotion is fantastic. I know they don't get the same kind of shine, and they're in Poland, and the names aren't, the biggest. But man, they put on a show. So I'll go with KSW. But then, okay, but now you're putting quality. I mean, obviously UFC, obviously. Bellator has the ability to do it big. I mean, that Ireland show was fantastic. They're going back next month. I look forward to that. Mousasi Vanderford, but KSW, I think, is doing a fantastic job. KSW Ryzen's doing a good. I mean, there's a lot. Jordan, I just want to thank you for what you have done for me. You inspired me to start writing about MMA, and I currently write at Fansided MMA. Congrats and good luck. Hopefully, I can follow in the tracks of you. If it wasn't for Masvidal getting me into MMA and you writing about it, I don't know what career path I would have chosen. Well, thank you. Also, I've been watching McAfee every day for the past few years, and you need to get back on. Yeah, tell them. Spam them, not me. And you know what? They can't afford me. P.S. They also need someone who actually knows MMA/UFC, so hopefully I can be that guy if they start asking. Oh, okay. You want to take my spot? Shout out to you. Good luck, Jordan. Matan, do you have any updates on the TV deals with PFL or One? PFL, wouldn't be surprised. It's looking like ESPN. One, a little bit up in the air. I had heard Amazon. I had heard Peacock. I mean, the Turner deal seemed like it was a good thing with TNT, but the ratings weren't great, so that's what I'm hearing right now. Hugo, hey Ariel, long-time listener, first-time questioner. Last week, Kevin Holland and you mentioned how you guys should start a show and how heated rivals of the UFC should go against each other in different sports. It was funny you say that because I met Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington at the same time and they were playing table tennis against each other. Just a fun fact. Keep up the awesome content. Wow, okay, maybe I'll ask Jorge about that. Mark, checking in to see if there are any updates on Vicente Luque. He's won 4 in a row and sits at number 4. No, nothing at the moment. Who would I like to see Luque fight? Bilal. How about Luque versus Bilal? That would be the one. What's the status of John Jones and Nick Diaz? I mean, Jones says he's waiting for the winner. And he's going to be watching them and doing the research. And Nick Diaz, nothing. I saw a video with him with a massive beard. Hopefully everything's okay. Not to say that the beard is an indication, but I just hope that he's doing well and is happy and being looked after. It was cool to see the winner of the DraftKings Fantasy Contest get some love this week. Perhaps in the future we have the winner calling for a quick chat. I mean, let's not get crazy here. We gave that dude a lot of airtime. It was great. I like the DraftKings thing. Ariel, is the time right to let us know what went down in Houston? Not yet. I did say it in one particular place, and it was very DL. It was on the low, but on this platform, nah. I don't want that drama. But it's a great story, by the way, and you all would be very proud of me. I will just say that. You all would be very proud. And Helwani was like in full effect. I just want to let you know. Like, it's a great story. It's a great personal story. I just want to let you know. I mean, it was just like a strong flex, just for the record. Rami, hey, Ariel. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the importance of having a good translator. Oh, yeah. I mean, Yoel had a tremendous translator throughout his career. Mizu was great back in the day. Derek, who does the Portuguese translation for some of the Brazilian fighters, does a great job. Ed Soares did a solid enough job for Anderson. I know some people didn't like him, but he brought a little character there. Sayat does a great job with his fighters, Fiziev and Pyotr. Yeah, it's massive. If you've got a dull translator or one that doesn't do, I mean, Yoel's was the best, right? Because he was like a villain. He was so good. Yoel's was fantastic. What was his name? Ray. Oh, what a legend. But yes, a good translator is extremely important. I feel like Charles Oliveira needs a good translator. Very important. Hey, Ariel, absolutely love your work. Thank you. Question, I don't follow MMA when McGregor was running through Aldo, so I didn't experience the seismic impact it made for fans. It was massive. If Chimaev were to beat Burns and then Usman, how would that compare? I mean, it would be big, but it wouldn't be the same. This was like a cultural movement. This was like people flying in from, I mean, it was meteoric. Also, I mean, McGregor's path to get to that point wasn't the easiest path. I know the Seaver fight was like the one outlier, but he had to go through, Chad Mendez on short notice, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. That was like a cultural phenomenon. Totally different. They went to Ireland, that moment against Brandao. It would be gigantic and it would be great, but it wouldn't be the same in my opinion. Steven, does the undisputed champ and interim champ get the same pay-per-view points? It depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on who's who. But the important thing is the interim does. Do you know of any Canadian prospects that we should be keeping an eye out for? No one huge right now. I know there are some, and I don't want to leave anyone out, but there aren't a ton. We're starting to see more and more. Charles has been one, Charles Jourdain, but no like GSP or Rory that I know of. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but it's been a bit slow since, GSP left and Rory got a bit older. Thoughts on the new Hab GM? Yeah, I like him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but agents turning GMs have had success, and he's a Montrealer, and he speaks French for whatever reason that still matters to people over there, which is crazy. Just get the best guy, but seems like everyone's really happy with the moves the Canadians have made with their new PR person and their new GM. They're going with the right people. So, I mean, it's been a horrible year, very depressing. Very disappointing after last year's run, but obviously a lot of changes. So I hope they can turn it around with these new people, and it was time for Bergevin to leave. Jake from the Windy City. What's up, Jake? What's up, Ariel? Happy New Year. Thank you. I mean, it's January 19th, for God's sakes. Who's more likely to write their own autobiography, Dana White or Vince McMahon? I mean, I guess at this point, Dana, because he's younger. Would you be interested? Absolutely. Favorite wrestling matches of all time? Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, 1991 Montreal Forum. I'll never forget it. Also, Hart and Mr. Perfect 92 SummerSlam was tremendous. Also, I loved your guest appearance on Post Wrestling with John Pollock. Thank you. He's the man. One recommendation for an overall MMA history book I would like to give out is Total MMA by Jonathan Snowden. Great book. If the history of MMA was taught as a college course, Total MMA would be the official textbook used for the class. All right, there you go. High praise from Jake. All right, we actually have just 2 questions left, but we're going to pause. I went through all of them because our guest is here very early. I mean, this is great. He is actually, I mean, it's so great when a guest comes early. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. And I hear the internet connection is great. I mean, this is just a gift from the gods. Let's go to the Zoom machine and say hello to the one and only, the often imitated, never duplicated, the legend himself, Gamebred, Jorge Masvidal. There he is. Jorge.
It's getting better. It's getting better every time, Aaron.
Oh my God, this is great. Where are you right now?
Right now, I am in a building.
Okay. Well, it says recovery. This is great. Well, thanks for coming so early.
Medical life wallet, it's called.
Okay. Is everything okay?
Oh, yeah. No, it's just long story short, I'm an athlete, if I get like my knee hurt or I blow out my neck and the way that people have it set up like doctors where they have like your information, they're giving it to everybody. I have it in a very like pretty secure way, so I don't want people knowing after what I have hurt or not hurt, So I want to keep that very secure. So just as I'm finishing up with them, you called, so.
Okay, well, respect. Thank you for doing this, my man. Thank you as always. So this is big. This is big, my friend. 305, right? 305, there it is. Can I just say one thing? One thing that bums me out about this, I mean, it's great, it's tremendous. Why isn't this fight happening in Miami? Is there any good explanation for this?
There's many good explanations for this. I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about it, but it comes down to money. Vegas makes a lot of money. A gate like that in Vegas, it's just when it comes to numbers on just the gate alone, you do a lot of damage in Las Vegas, Not that we couldn't in Miami. Miami would still could devastate the market and stuff, at least me. But in Vegas, I mean, it's a lot of money to be made over there.
Yeah. Okay. So are you bummed about that? Who's your cameraman right now? Is it Abe? Because he's doing a really poor job.
You're doing a shit job. I can't even see. Not Abe, but it's another guy. But
I mean, golly. I mean, he's just
fired.
I know Trio 5 is a sponsor, but like we want to see your whole face, not just the top of your hat there. That's perfect. That's great. Just leave it right there. You got a tripod. So was that even in consideration or never was?
I don't think it was in much consideration. Didn't really seem like we were doing that one. We'll save the Miami one for a big date. This fella's just an idiot. He just has a big mouth. When I fight for the championship again, then we'll go to Miami. But for this idiot, just get him wherever I get him.
Okay. Did they?
I'll say Miami good.
Did they move those 2 title fights for you guys? Did they say, okay, like is that the kind of flex that you guys had on everything, that they had these 2 title fights and then they said, yeah, we're going to move those to April so that Colby and Jorge can main event?
Let me make one thing abundantly clear. I respect all the champions, especially those champions that was on the card. So I don't want to say it was any type of flex or nothing like that. It was just the way things worked out. I respect the crap out of those champions that were on that card and would have loved to have them on the card. So to me, it would have been an honor to compete with these individuals. So it's not like a flex or nothing like that. I just think it's logistics. It's where they could generate the most money. I don't make those decisions. They do.
Was 5 rounds important for you?
Bro, listen, what was important to me is that my paychecks get met, and that's it, Because here's the thing, and I didn't want to tell you see this earlier. I don't like this guy, right? I don't want him thinking you're going to get me any cheaper than what I'm worth because I don't really, really like this guy at all. I don't want to say I do it for free, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I'm just happy the deal's done. I am so invested in this. I've been training for a fight. As soon as I got hurt, they told me no impact. You can't get hit in the ribs. You got to stay off the ribs. I said, cool. I'm going to go run the bridge. I'm going to go sprint the staircase. I'm going to go hit the track and field. I'm going to do it often as much as I can and let myself recuperate and then do it again. So while I was away from the gym, I've just been training the whole time. I get the fight announcement. I'm already in shape. Like, let's go, man. I'm going to fucking break your face, man. Everything that you said, we're going to have to see what's up when we get in the cage, you know? This is an individual that obviously, I don't think anybody likes him. Anybody cares for his cup of tea. Somebody's talking about ex-teammates, wives and stuff. Like, for what? You're going to fight the dude or the chick or what is it? You know, you're confused about his life just as much as he is about his sexuality, you know? And it's not that I'm making fun of him for it. It's just like, you're just a confused dude, bro. And I'm going to straighten you out.
You've had some personal fights. I mean, you're just coming off a personal fight, right? Would you say this is the most personal to you?
Yeah, man. I would say they're all business, man. It's all business. And, you know, some of the people that I'm running business with are idiots, but it's nothing personal. But if it was to be something personal, this is one of the more closer ones, you know? And that's because, this individual lived in my couch for a year.
Yeah.
You know, while he had his hand broken, was living off my couch, was eating my meal prep food that they were giving me because I was already a sponsored athlete. He was an amateur coming in to the world, you know? So it just makes it like, it just puts a lot of things in perspective. Like, you come into this world alone and you fucking probably go out alone as well, you know? And this guy's a legit snake, so I can't wait to, ask John Jones about it. That motherfucking John Jones has nothing nice to say about it. How about Woodley? Woodley ain't got nothing nice to say about it, you know? And think what you want of Jones and Woodley, but I know those guys personal. They ain't never done me wrong in any sense, you know? Go ask them what they think about this guy. And the list goes on and on. American top team, the current gym that he's at now, they're having trouble because he hasn't paid. He finally just coughed up money. This guy owes money to numerous loan sharks in South Florida for his poker gambling debt. So I just hope he even makes it to the fight, bro, because this guy's in all types of trouble. And I'm going to be the nail to this motherfucking coffin, man. I just can't wait. I'm going to fucking give it everything I have to get in this guy's fucking face and break his will, because that's the first thing I'm going to do.
Because of how you feel about him, Jorge, is there a level of pressure there that comes with it where it's like, man, I cannot lose to this guy? If there's one guy that I don't want to ever have a W against me, it's this dude, right? Do you think about that sort of thing?
Basically, wait up, because I got some loudmouths in the building while I'm doing this interview. Ariel.
Yeah, it's very important.
Sorry about that, Ariel. People lose their fucking mind sometimes, and so do I.
Yeah.
Listen, man. They're all, I don't want to lose to anybody in the world. I'm that hyper competitive. I don't want to lose to anybody in the world. But this individual, I just consider him a shit person, bro. Like, truly, of everybody I've ever met in the sport, this is a person that I truly have nothing nice to say about. So I'm not even gonna keep talking about him, man, because it's just a foul person, and it's only gonna bring foul things out of me to even talk about this individual. So, man, yeah, I'm looking forward to hurting him, bro. I'm looking forward to breaking his fucking face.
This one is different than the Leon fight, right? Like, this one gets you, I think this one gets you more excited. Would that be fair?
Leon, to me, is just some idiot that was running his mouth, and I had to check him, you know, like, let's talk about it. But,
yeah,
you know, in the past, I don't care about Leon. Like, I know he has posters of me in his wall, and he fucking has, like, candles lit to my name, but I could care less about this guy. If he does good or bad in life, I'm not wishing him bad or good. I just don't give a fuck about the dude. You know, just to an extent, a co-worker of mine that I don't fucking get along, you know. Colby's different because, like I said, he lived on my couch. He fucking borrowed money from me from time to time because he was so broke spending money on fucking poker, you know. So it's just like, it's a little different with him, but it's still just business at the end of the day. No matter what, it's just business. It's just, I met him through business, and it's still just all business. That's why I don't say it's personal. It's not like a friend of mine that I actually grew up with, somebody that came up with me. It's just some fucking idiot, you know. What do you got allowed to get like close?
What do you think about the press like the build up to the fight? How do you feel? Like, is this something that you're kind of dreading that you're going to have to share in this experience with him?
You know what, man? Because this guy, all he's going to do is take his shirt off and scream and and then there's going to be like 100 bodyguards in between us. So it's not something that I care for. I'm not to get into shouting matches. You know, I didn't do that when I was in middle school. I'm not going to do that now, you know. So if I'm just sitting there and it's turning into a shouting match, you better believe I'll bring some entertainment to that situation or get kicked the fuck out, you know? Because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take my shirt off. I'm fucking crazy too and scream and do that whole, you know, I had too many beers in college routine that he likes to do. I'm more of like, let's just go, bro. Let's just fucking find out. If not, why am I wasting my vocal cords screaming? I could be sending out very, very nice voice notes to like certain individuals, asking them how the day was. Hey, mama, do you want to get dinner or something? Instead of screaming with this fucking idiot, man. Come on, man.
I feel you. Chael Sonnen made a lot of headlines today. He called this a career-ending fight for you. Did you see his comments?
Yeah, I saw it, man. I mean, I get it, man. Two white boys from Oregon. They both have like that sleazeball style, like at cutting edge at the time, you know. I thought Chael did it in a more classy way, but he still like said things that didn't need to be said, like bringing up Anderson Silva's wife and things like that. So those type of guys got to stick together, you know. But I like it, though, because Chael is the type of guy that will go back and apologize. So when I fucking murder Colby, he has to be like, holy shit, this guy deserves a title fight and blah, blah, blah. I personally like Chael. A little bothered by that comment, but it's kind of like it just sets up the fucking mountain to be a lot higher. You know, when I climb in and Chael's like, I can't believe you climbed that mountain, I'm going to be like, I told you, bitch. You know?
What did you think of Colby's performance against Kamaru in November?
I thought I'm not going to lie, I thought Kamaru looked great, you know, and Colby looked like fucking dog shit, you know, in the pocket. And then the few times that he tried to wrestle, he got fucking tired quick, you know. Besides just the fourth round, what I saw more of that fight was more of Usman. And something I've never seen of Usman before, which I actually like take my hat off to him, how he's able to stay in the pocket. We talked about this. He stayed in the pocket, moved his head, and stayed in the striking range to fucking hit back. He wasn't overly eager to grab him or to throw a big bomb. He was actually being patient with his shots. And fucking, he's a fucking striker, you know? And that impressed me. Colby just fucking looked like he melted, like always. Like, oh, fuck, I'm getting hit in the face. I can't take the guy down. Self-auto-destruct, you know? He's just looking for a way out. Usman didn't give it to him, but I'm going to give him a little recipe.
Will you have anyone in your corner on March 5th that has cornered Colby before?
I'm hit you with the Trap City flex.
That's nice. That's nice. I like that. What is that, Netherlands you got there? You rocking Netherlands?
Oh, no. Don't act like you know. You had one of your research, motherfuckers.
No, what are you talking about? Come on.
You don't know shit like that.
I know shit about Netherlands. Adi and Robin. What do you know about Adi and Robin?
Man, you always asking me so many questions. When are you going to come break for me on my fucking show, man? Huh?
Oh, yes.
Let's talk real.
Oh, wait a second. Listen, you're doing this big thing with the cards. We got a clip right here that I wanted to ask you about. You're doing this Breakers thing, right? It's with a Z, correct? Breakers. Right. You pulled, right. We got this clip here. Tucker, play this clip here. You pulled a Colby Covington autograph card and then you lit it on fire.
Yeah, and then it actually got some value to it. And I did an American Top Team, the Temple.
You know what's funny? We were watching this before the show, and I was like, I feel like you just upped the value of that card. Now I want the fire.
I'll sell it to you. I have it actually. I'll sell it to you.
How much is it?
I'll sell the fuck out of that card right now. What do we got it at?
We're still going through just analytics.
We got some DMs there that are kind of interesting. Some are like very trashy. Some are like, whoa, okay, we'll entertain this. You know.
I mean, that's a one of one right there.
It's a one of one made by.
That's right.
Himself.
What's this Breakers thing you're doing?
Man, I'm a huge fucking fan of the sport and all aspects of it. I fucking love cards. I've been collecting cards already for a minute. So when I saw my chance to get like further involved in the breaking world, I was like, I'm doing this, you know. So I'm part of it. I love it. I'm, you know, a big part of me is like a nerd in that shit, you know, for Marvel cards and UFC cards and like certain type of memorabilia. I like it. So I have a lot of it, you know. Why not have a company and maybe make like a little, you know, change?
It's cool. Yeah. I mean, it's huge right now. Panini is involved in all these. You know, what's so fascinating about you, Jorge, is like not that long ago, I feel like, you know, you were just that guy. You were that sort of, you know, 30 and 30 guy, 40 and 40. Now, headlining pay-per-views, no belt on the line, never happens, right? If it's not a McGregor card, never happens. They're doing it for you. BMF, we know about doing it for you. And you've got you got your game bred. I'm not trying to kiss your ass here, but also now, do you own Icon too? I see you doing that. Are you the owner of Icon as well?
I'm a partner in Icon, a big partner. Like I said, I love fighting, man. I want to be involved in all aspects of it. I got a great opportunity to come on board with some guys that I know from business side, and they're phenomenal at what they do. I'm like, let's pair up, you know. So I got a glove promotion. which is Icon, Jorge Masvidal's Icon Fighting Championships.
Wow.
With Mr. Dean Toole and some other players that I'm not going to announce their name right now.
Okay.
And then we got Gane FC.
Yeah.
He said, why you got 2 promotions, Gane? Because I like money.
Can I ask you, before they made the Colby fight, was there any serious talks of doing you versus Jake Paul?
Yo, man.
Come on. Come on. I mean, it would make money.
And I don't know in whose fucking eyeballs it makes money. I heard what was the last pay-per-view that he just did sell? What did he
I don't think that number is legit. I don't think that number is legit.
You know? So you want to double that number, or you're saying it's lower than that number? Or you think it's lower?
No, it's not lower. It's not lower. I don't think that number is legit. I don't know what the actual
so what is the number?
I don't think it did as well as the first one, but I don't think it did that low. The first one with Woodley.
Listen, before he spends $1 million on fucking advertisement to wow. Before he spends $1 million on advertisement, fucking to make it seem like he sold a lot more than he did. I already know the official numbers, man. So,
oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I guess you would. Same management, right? But you know, it takes 2 to tango, right? The matchup. You know, you can have Jose Aldo fighting.
Brother, let me explain something to you. I worked too hard in my career to like bring somebody up right now. Yeah, I get it. He's like famous in some metaverse world. But in my world, they don't give a fuck about it. And they just show the money talks, you know? Like, I'm not here to make people famous right now. I'm here to collect the big... You know how long I've been doing this sport, Ariel?
Yeah. Almost 20 years.
Tell other people.
Almost 20 years.
No, but tell them, I've been on the 20-year for real, confirmed killer's death row. This is not some made-up shit. I have 400 fights, but nobody's ever seen one of them. No, you can see all my motherfucking fights online. You can see all through the history. I've really been doing this close to 20 years professionally now. It's time for your boy to make some real money. Who the fuck is this Jake Paul guy, bro? Get the fuck out of my face, man. I got shit to do, bro.
Okay.
I got companies to run. I got dinner shit going.
That's right. Do you want to bring her in? I mean, this would be a strong flex. You bring her into the interview right now.
He's just taking over. She walks by.
Completely distracting us, right? You know? I mean, it's way better than having Malky walking in back of the camera or something like that, right?
Amen, brother.
Amen. Can I ask, since you're sort of like the unofficial leader of the team, what is what are your thoughts on Amanda Nunes leaving ATT? This was big news this week.
I love Amanda. I saw her when she came over from MMA Masters. I saw her go from like being a good fighter to being literally undisputedly who she is. I'm gonna have to say the women's greatest fighter ever. And I saw all that through her being a top team, me and her both rising through the ranks, going up, going down, you know, fighting, coaching, sparring, training, running, conditioning. We didn't always do this, but we've always been like, you know, like in the same buildings, watching each other through the journey. And to see her progress is amazing. And to see her progress on the American top team, like same gym, is even like, wow, like I've never like worked out with her or sparred or anything, but I'm like, to some extent that journey that she had is like shared with me, you know? So it just definitely hurts not to have her there, I think. But man, always wishing the best for her. Like if she's gonna do her own thing, she would know best. She's been fighting forever. Obviously it hurts, and obviously I want her at American top team, and I think we all do. We all love her. So it's like it's a devastating blow to the team for a fact. You know, it definitely hurts. And I respect the crap out of her. I just fucking love her, man.
Can I ask you a question? Speaking of the team, and I'm not going to keep you too long, I promise, but I noticed like when you post the pictures of you training with the guys, you're always wearing the headgear, like old school wrestler style, right?
Yeah.
How come you do that?
Yeah. My ears, man. So I could like have regular ears.
I know, but you do have cauliflower ears already. You just don't want them worse?
Yeah. I don't want them worse. And I've always, like, I'm sensitive with the shirt. I wear my headgear quite often, as you can tell. I've been wearing it for like the last 10 years. But, you know, it's just so much, impact. You know, sometimes you have your hand up and a hard kick comes in, and that boom right there will make it like a little bit sensitive. So I just, I try to take care of my ears, you know?
Okay.
Just a little bit, man. But look, as it is, and I wear my headgear often, I can't even put like headphones on. Like,
you can't.
I could wear those big ass ones, but who's gonna run with that shit, right?
No.
I need like the little nipples that don't fit in my ear.
So what do you do?
For the nipples, I put him elsewhere.
Oh, stop it. Come on.
Sick fuck. Hey, this is a kid show, bro.
Come on. Hey, who do you think the 45th president of the United States is rooting for on March 5th?
There's only one. Gane, Brad.
You think so? You think he's going to, if he had to pick, you think he's picking you over Colby?
For a fact, man. Ask this dude. He knows what a fighter looks like. He was around boxing forever. He knows what a nut hugger, ass-kissing machine like Colby looks like. Colby tried to kiss his hand and Trump was weird. He pulled that shit back. That's on video, man. How the fuck you going to ask if it's a close race even? It's me all day.
Okay.
Did Trump FaceTime with Kobe's ass and his kids? No, Trump did that with me. I haven't even released a video yet because I want fucking liberal heads to pop. Well, not that I got something against liberals, but
yeah, sure.
It's going to pop when I drop this thing.
Okay. I saw him call him after a win. He called him after a win. He called him on the phone. Remember that when he was doing the interview after the Woodley fight?
Yeah, it's just because Trump was bored out of his mind. He ain't had nothing better to do. He's like, I might as well call this sucker, get myself on TV, more free promotion. He calls me on like random Friday night. What are you up to, man? Chilling with the family here. Let me meet your kids. Let me meet Pops. Okay. Met everybody.
For you to main event this card without a belt, without any kind of title on the line, BMF or not, what does that mean to you after your entire career? Coming off, arguably, I think you would say like one of the tougher losses of your career, right? And the toughest loss. Okay, I was trying to be, respectful, but to come back and now you're in the main event without, like, this doesn't happen. What does that mean to you?
It means that I've been doing something right. When I get in the cage and that door closes, there's something that I'm bringing to the table that is a little different and very unique, and nobody else is bringing that to the table. That's exactly what it means. My last fight, I got hurt, and then as soon as I come out of that, so it's like bad stint after bad stint. Coming off 2 losses, and I got hurt on my last fight, so it's not looking great for me. And yet I still get to main event in one of the biggest cards of the year, period. So I'm happy, man. Just lets me know the type of work that I've done throughout the years and that I'm doing and what I'm gonna do to keep pushing on that route. That I don't have to change the formula. I have to tighten certain things up. I have to, on a technical level, tighten up a lot of things and fix this and that. But the entertainment that I bring is unique, and that's just the pure violence.
2 last questions. Are you over the Usman fight? Like, meaning
you're talking about 2 more full questions?
Just quick. Sorry. Because because it's hard to get you. I mean, you know how many times I have to ask Abe to get you on the show? I mean, it's like I have to sacrifice my firstborn son to get you.
Do you know how many shows do I even?
No, you don't do a lot. This is it.
I'm not doing.
I appreciate that.
Listen, all my cousins got podcasts and all their best friends got podcasts. Every week I get asked to do it. And well, it doesn't work no more because I used to say my data plan won't allow it. Now they know I could afford like a better data plan. So
yeah. Well, I appreciate you. I just want to know when a fighter gets knocked out for the first time, sometimes they come back as a different person, right? I remember when GSP lost to Matt Serra, his style changed. Sometimes you become gun shy. Are you over it, or is there any part of you that feels like you need to get back in there to kind of get that out of your system? Do you know what I mean?
So after the Usman fight, me and a good friend of mine, what's by the name of Ibrahim, had a nice conversation, and he was like, I definitely want you to take time. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing. So I did something. I did something that I haven't got to do always in my life, but I just wanted to take an extended vacation, and use my resources and go to cool places and do cool things and just keep myself entertained. And in that, I would find myself, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. As I was doing all these fucking cool activities, and I'm using my connections. I'm planning. I'm not a planner, but now I'm planning. I'm like, hey, I'm going here. Who's got the connection over there? Who's the fucking plug? Who's the prime minister? Tell them Trump's favorite fighter's coming. Hook it up, and I'm doing that all over. And I'm getting myself in some nice, good situations. And something kept coming to me in my head. And everywhere I went, everywhere in the world I went, didn't matter what I was doing, who was there, whatnot. Something kept coming in my head, and that's, I want to fight. I want to fight. I just want to fight. I want to fight. It's not that I'm bragging or stunting, but I am from Dade County, so let me let you know, I don't have to keep fighting. I'm good, man. I just wake up and go about my business, read newspapers, drink my dad's Cuban coffee, play some dominoes, call it down. I don't got to do shit. But I want to fight. I want to fight. And that is what kept coming in my head, that I want to fight. So after enough time for the injuries of the brains and stuff to heal, because the first time that the lights go out, I gave myself a good time. It's been like 9 months now, right? Approximately something like that, maybe a little bit more. By the time I get to the fight, even a little bit more. It's going to be right under a year by the time I get to the fight, so everything will be good on a physical level, on a mental level, and on a spiritual level. And I just got to go in there and pull the trigger.
You don't do a lot of these. You will not pop up a lot between now and March 5th. You know Colby's watching. What do you want to say to him?
I got you. I got you, bitch. He knows one thing about me, that if you don't take me out like how Usman took me out, I'm just going to keep coming. Just going to keep coming. You could wrestle as much as you want, but I'm going to fucking elbow you in the face. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to punch you in the stomach. I'm going to punch you in the knee, and you're going to melt. I don't know if it's going to be in the first round. I don't know if it's going to be in the fourth round, but you're going to fucking melt how you always have. And I'm going to touch your body harder than I've ever had. And when I have you at that breaking point, I'm going to smile. I'm going to look you right in the fucking face. And I'm going to tell you, just how I did at the top of this thing, I got you. I'm going to fucking end your ass. And then everybody's going to have a nice little celebration. We're going to celebrate this guy out of existence for like ever, And you know what's another thing that really bothers me about this guy? It's kind of like the Chael Sonnen effect. Like Chael Sonnen had to be like so like shit talking because he didn't have an exciting style for a long time. He's just wrestling guys to death. So he had to do that extra talking and get himself over like that. That influenced guys like Colby. That's all he does. He has to talk about people's wives. Like how fucking low of a society have we gotten that's even acceptable? You're talking about people's wives for no reason? Talking about Amanda Nunes, his teammates, things like that. In doing that, he inspires the future generations. So some 12-year-old might be looking at it and thinking like, oh, this is the way to go, to insult the whole nation and get yourself over because you weren't selling pay-per-views, because you can't fight, so you have to insult the whole country now. Or you have to fucking insult somebody's wife. It just doesn't make sense to be fighting. We're already going to fight as men. We're going to give it all we have to each other. We don't have to talk about things like children, women, religion, people's countries where they're coming from, the whole nation. To make jokes, I think it's cool to get under somebody's skin, but to go to that level of disrespect, it's not. And then what's even worse is that it might inspire future generations to do it. And that I won't stand for it, That we gotta crush it,
Is she back?
We gotta get it out. It's like communism and socialism. It just has to be wiped away within the sport. Like we don't got no time or space for these cocksuckers like that. They just wanna, lessen the sport. This sport was as you know, you've been watching it not as long as me for a while, Ariel. And this sport is a very pure, clean, beautiful sport. It might not seem like that to eye, but there's a lot of respect between the competitors, and guys like this. It's like an extra cherry on top for me. I'm getting paid to beat this fucking scumbag up. Fucking perfect.
Jorge, you're the man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this. Thank you to your cameraman. I hope his arms aren't tired right now. It's always a different person holding the camera. That's how you know you made it.
I gotta keep you guessing.
Okay. Hey, shout out to Trio 5. Also, respect. I mean,
when you gonna come break with me, Ariel? Let's make some money, man.
Okay, let's do it.
I got the card of cards waiting for. I got a hot deck. I got like 3-4 of them that are just hot. When you get on board, here you go, brother.
Let's go. All right. I'll see you soon. I'm big in Miami. I don't know if you know this.
Promise me?
They love me
Before
in South Beach. They love
Before my fight?
South Beach?
Before my fight? Nah, forget about South Beach. Before my fight,
Why? What's wrong with South Beach? What's wrong with South Beach?
Nah, the place is too packed, man. It's too touristy. I can't go there,
okay.
bro.
It's like Times Square in New York.
It's like $200 for a freaking barbecue chicken wing. Like one of them.
Well, where's the spot? Where's the local spot?
I got some spots.
You don't want to put it on blast because then you don't want the people to come in and ruin it. We'll talk offline. I still don't have I don't have any way of. I don't have any way of connecting with you, Jorge. You won't get. I used to have your number. I can't get your number anymore. Can you believe that?
You have my number, bro. We text like 3 weeks ago. What are you crazy?
What are you talking about? I got to go through your handlers now. That's how I know you're a big deal. When you reach the status of you can't get the number. I got to go through that. I mean, it's like, come on. After all these years,
like 3 weeks ago.
I was there after Toby Amata. Don't forget, I was there after Toby Amata. Okay, don't forget who was there talking to you.
First time your boy went to sleep on the job. No, second time. My bad. Second time I went to sleep on the job.
And I was still there. I was there for KJ Nunes. I was there. Don't forget.
I remember, brother. Come on.
I was there when you were eating brownies for breakfast. Remember that?
We're there.
Those were the days. Much love.
That wasn't too long ago either.
I know.
Listen, Ariel, I'm going to call you right now.
Yeah?
To come break.
Okay, we're going to do what? On IG? Where you do it, on IG?
No, whatnot.
What's that?
It's an app just for breaking.
All right, you let me know. I'll download it. I owe you one.
Sure.
You come on my show enough. I owe you one.
Thank you.
All right. Anytime. Name the place, time. I'll be there.
Hey, and after this fight, me and you are gonna hit a different type of stardom, bro. I'm telling you.
We are? Me and you?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. We're gonna
coming together.
Because I'm not doing that many more interviews and shit. You know, I'm the interview world. It's kind of played out to me, man.
Oh damn.
So I'm about to just not do that many more. So me and you gonna take out. We're gonna have some viral up and coming moments. I called it. Peace out, everybody.
You're the man, Jorge. There he is. That's a good way to end it. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of interviews. You heard it. You heard the man. He don't do a lot of interviews. And so, yes, Chael Sonnen was on his YouTube channel, and the quote is this: in totality, in all fairness, I really have to show some respect to Masvidal because this is a career-ending fight. It is that big of a deal. There will be that much tension and that much focus and that much hatred going into this battle. Jorge, who is the second biggest draw in combat sports right now, he's coming off 2 defeats. If he goes out there and he gets taken down, he gets mauled for 25 minutes, it is going to take a lot of luster off the shine that is the second biggest draw in the UFC, the BMF Jorge Masvidal. It is a big deal, and Jorge signed up anyway. Goddamn, I respect that. So yes, there is a backhanded sort of shot there, if you will, saying career-ending fight. But I actually feel like, and I don't know if, you know, Jorge or someone who's talking to Jorge gave him the full breakdown. I think he's giving him respect. I get it. I mean, let's be honest. Chael and Colby are buds, and we all know that. But I don't think it was the most insulting statement. I think people are getting fired up about the career-ending line, and I can understand that. I think if you would have put potentially career-ending in there, so potentially career, the potentially is the word that might have softened it a little bit. It might have been perceived a little differently. But that was fun. Always great to have Jorge on the program, one of the biggest stars. And man, I got to say, all you guys getting all fired up about co-main event March 5th, I mean, first of all, it's the beauty of MMA. It's the beauty of the UFC and what they build. 2 guys coming off losses to the same person, Kamaru Usman, are able to headline a pay-per-view that's going to do very well and bring out, you know, a lot of emotions and a lot of heat and a lot of buzz and a lot of drama and a lot of headlines. And I love the fact that the UFC is saying we don't always need a belt at the top. There are some fights that are big enough. There are some personalities that are big enough. There are some rivalries that are big enough. And at the end of the day, what did we learn? What was the greatest lesson learned from McGregor-Diaz 1 and then eventually 2? You don't need a belt. Belts elevate the stakes, and Ngannou Gane for sure. Figueiredo Moreno elevates the stakes, but sometimes you get 2 guys with a great backstory and a great beef and a great storyline and a great rivalry, and the belt is the cherry on top, but you don't really need it. So, a lot at stake there. I mean, this runs deep. This is personal. There is nothing fake. I can guarantee you there is nothing fake. Curious to see how they handle it after the fact. Could be one of those they never shake hands. They were once good friends, and maybe that's what needs to happen for them to get back to being good friends. I would argue, you know, maybe the damage is done. Maybe it's too deep now, but the build-up to that fight is going to be fun. I wish it was happening in Florida. Could you imagine the scene? But he is right. The gate, the ticket sales, all that stuff, it's just so much bigger. That's the one thing that you have to constantly remember. It's just so much bigger in Las Vegas. Let me answer those last 2 questions, and then I'll say goodbye. And then I can say that I answered all of them. With how close the lines are for 270, do you think a fight between Stipe and Ciryl will be as close? I mean, I think it depends on how Ciryl, if in this scenario, beats Ngannou. Also, wouldn't it be wise for Stipe to take a fight or 2 against lower-ranked guys? Yes, I would agree. I would like to see Stipe maybe, I don't know, fight the winner of Lewis Tuivasa. Howdy, Lord Helwani. With Al Kukui in the news lately, has there been any chatter about him reuniting with his coaches? Holloway, Bravo. Personally think it was a huge mistake. Yeah, I agree with that. Again, it goes back to the Nunes thing, right? Sometimes you make these wholesale changes and it could feel good in the moment coming off a tough loss, but ultimately it's not the best thing for your career. And we don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes, the daily practices and training sessions and all that stuff. We just don't know. We don't. But sometimes these big changes don't lead to good things. I hope we see Ferguson back at some point in the first half of this year, whether it's against Chandler or someone else. I hope we see him at some point in the first half of 2022. Last comment, Ariel, I'm so glad to have the MMA Hour back again in 2022. Thank you for the great show, and what a perfect way to end this program. Thank you, Lachi Green, for that. Yes, for interviews like that, Woodley, I mean, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to do this show and to give you these fighters in an unfiltered way, all access, and it's just an honor for me that they would come on. Like when Masvidal says that, he means that, and you know, you guys don't know how much that means. That means a lot. These guys don't have to show up on these shows. They don't have to give us 20, 30 minutes of their time. They don't have to answer these questions. They just don't. They don't have to. They don't get paid for it, but they do it, and I respect them immensely for it. So great couple shows this week, and that leads us in very nicely to the pay-per-view on Saturday, UFC 270, first pay-per-view of 2022. The Pond has always created some great moments in UFC history, some historic moments, and this could be another one. And apparently it's the biggest gate, which is a huge, huge deal. And I think you're going to see this in London and these other places the first time back. Hopefully, as the world, hopefully, I pray, goes back to normal, is just going to make for some big business. I can't wait. And then we got a post-pay-per-view Monday to wrap it all up. We're out of time. You can hit my music. Yeah, there it is. Me and Jorge gonna break some packs. You heard it here first. Gonna break some packs. Fun day, fun show. Fun day, fun show. Man, I can't wait. Nothing in combat sports quite like the heavyweight title. And I feel like because we don't get it often in MMA, this one just feels a little extra special. And then it's just not, you know, this guy versus this guy. It's the teammates stuff. I mean, it's just a contract. Golly, this is big time stuff. I can't wait. UFC 270 Saturday night on pay-per-view. ESPN Plus pay-per-view here in America. BT Sport box office over in the UK. I hope you will be watching. Those top two fights are incredible. And it was great to learn a bit about Ilia Topuria, who is fighting apparently on the prelims. Could you believe it? Against Charles Jourdain. I'm looking forward to that. So thank you very much to Ilia for stopping by. Good luck to him. And I think that's going to be a name that we're going to be talking about in this 145-pound division for quite some time. Thank you very much to Eric Nicksick. Love the coaches in MMA. I mean, we are blessed with some great characters in the sport. Some great coaches, some great fighters, obviously. There's you know, we focus a lot on the negatives, but there are some great people in the sport. Eric, in my opinion, is one of them as well. Thank you very much to Tyron, another great guy. Never met him on the show. Of course, I met him. I appreciate him very much. And of course, thank you very much to Jorge Masvidal as well. Good luck to him on March 5th. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace.